In this afternoon's clash at Waverley, it's North Melbourne versus Brisbane.
Thank you, Craig Willis, and a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Waverley Park. It's match number 3 in the Ansett Australia Cup for 1995. And this afternoon we have another interstate clash between North Melbourne and Brisbane. AFL Operations Manager Ian Collins has revealed just a few moments ago that there will be 6 interchange players for either side here this afternoon in view of these still very, very warm conditions here in Melbourne. North Melbourne, well, we're expecting big things from the Roos this year. They came so close to 1994 reaching the grand final. You remember Geelong defeated the Roos in the first preliminary final by only 6 points after Gary Ablett kicked a goal after the final siren. And the Bears, well, they had their best season in the AFL last year. They won 9 games and they certainly will be looking to build on that in season 1995. North Melbourne and Brisbane from Waverley in the Ansett Cup.
The 1995 Ansett Australia Cup. Brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors, Nike, Foster's Lager and McDonald's.
And a very good afternoon to you, Don Scott.
Thanks, Peter. It's good to be here too on a hot afternoon.
It is. Can you recall playing football in conditions like
My
these?
word, every pre-season was like this, Peter.
North Melbourne squad, Don, on paper looks particularly good, and of course they have recruited rather well over the summer, haven't they?
Yeah, and a couple of injuries, but there's the North Melbourne squad, and Laidley, half-back flank. He's been a terrific find, an unpretentious player, but he's a very important link. Stevens, well, he's a runner, he can tag, he can play off players, and he's very good as well, as is Trent Nichols. Now, that's a player they picked up, Richmond, West Coast, and now at North Melbourne. Very, very important about midfield.
Some of their recruits that they've picked up, Reynolds, the most publicised one.
Yes, well, he was picked up only a few days ago in the March draft, but he can play either end of the ground. Robert Scott, it's interesting. I don't know why Geelong got rid of him, but every time I watch this fellow play, he does particularly well. Armstrong, a worker, not over-endowed with pace. Maybe the defensive side of his game needs a little bit of work, but he certainly wins the ball. And Capuano, 6'6", he's only a youngster, has really built up over pre-season, and he'll be a great find.
Let's look at the Brisbane side now, and Brisbane, as we said, expecting big things from them during the course of 1995. Looks a pretty good team as well.
Yes, and Chapman showed so much promise, but he had a disappointing year last year. Fletcher, a little bit like Armstrong, very good on winning the ball, the defensive side of his game. Well, he realises that, and he started to work on it last year. And Chris Scott, his first year, wasn't he a mature, impressive player? Let's hope he can continue on.
Now, some of their recruits, and an interesting name, number 3 there, but from the top, Shane Hodges.
Yes, well, they've got Hodges, Ackermanis, Lawrence and Gowes. Well, we know about Gowes, but working from the bottom. Lawrence, son of Barry Lawrence. Now, Barry, his father, I can vouch for the fact
he
could run at the ball, and I think the young Lawrence has got a little bit of that in him as well. Ackermanis, well, he's a Teal Cup player, and he's been around for a little while as far as Brisbane's concerned, from Maine. He's only 17, but he can play on the wing, and Hodges, as you can see there, gives a bit of run out of defence.
OK, Don, thanks very much. As I said, an interstate clash at the Ansett Australia Cup for 95 this afternoon from Waverley. Brisbane and North Melbourne will be back after this. Welcome back to Waverley. North Melbourne coming out onto the ground this afternoon, on which some $350,000 has been spent over the summer months to upgrade it, and indeed it does look a picture. Well, we mentioned North Melbourne's chances for 1995. What about Brisbane, the side who promised much in 1994? They did have some good wins over some of the top sides, including Collingwood, Essendon, and of course grand finalists Geelong. How far can they go this year? Bill McDonald tried to find out.
Waving goodbye to 1994 was bittersweet for Brisbane, after their best shot at an inaugural final series appearance fell just short. Bridging the gap has meant pre-season started early, last October, with specialist help from Olympic champions Kieran Perkins, Gail Devers and Glynis Nunn-Kearns.
Something I've never been exposed to, and it's certainly something that I'm not taking for granted. Meeting and talking with Kieran Perkins through the week was a thrill for all of us, and we got a lot out of it.
The accent has been on quality, not quantity.
build up their strength, their speed, a lot of skill work, and we hope to play in finals, and that means it's going to be a 24-25 game season.
Gastev, Pios and Brendan McCormack are the biggest names to leave. Skipper Roger Merritt is back for another year to nurture a handful of talented youngsters, along with Hawthorn midfielder Andrew Gowers.
He'll be terrific for us because of his versatility.
Footscray wingman Shannon Corcoran,
Who we got in the draft early this week, can play on a half-back flank and a wing.
and Fitzroy's Ross Lyon.
He's respected as one of the hardest, toughest players in the AFL, so he'll be more than welcome.
They're the only major signings, but after 1994 was ruined by injury, Michael Murphy, Justin Lepich, Craig Starcevic and Michael Voss are as good as new recruits.
Reconstruction in the shoulder. Then I did my hamstring, broke my back, and then I had a knee operation and then got glandular fever on top of that. So that was just within a space of 6 months.
Once again though, Alistair Lynch has had a limited pre-season, this time due to a mysterious virus.
It sort of slowed me up for a while, but I'm pretty well getting on top of that now.
The Bears narrowly lost both pre-season trial matches against AFL opponents Carlton and Sydney. But Coach Walls has identified and hopes to iron out last year's deficiencies in the Ansett Cup, starting with North Melbourne.
We need to share the work up forward a bit more than we have in the past. We haven't had a major turnover of playing staff, and they're teaming better. I think they're confident that they're there to stay.
But while the Bears' football development has moved along in leaps and bounds during the off-season, the same can't be said for their home ground, the Gabba. Twice, for one reason or another, the ground's trust have postponed redevelopment, which would include lights and a brand new members area to replace this tired old one. But the Bears aren't going to let that stand in the way of their climb up the ladder in '95. And I mean climb. This year, they say they can do more than just make the finals.
I personally think that the Bears are a top 4 side this year.
I think that's the key to be successful and win those finals once we get there. Don't be complacent.
I just think the attitude down here is exceptional. The boys feel that they should have made the finals last year, and making the finals this year won't be necessarily considered enough, and I'm looking to be a part of a winning side.
Bill McDonald reporting on the Bears' hopes for season 1995 as they come out under Waverley to tackle North Melbourne in the Ansett Australia Cup for 1995. Good conditions, certainly on the warm side. 6 interchange players being used, but of course not as hot in the Victorian capital as it was yesterday, and for that we can indeed be very thankful. We'll take a break from Waverley, back with the bounce after this. The bench as we go down to the bench, and here's Dipper.
Thanks very much, Peter. As you can see behind me, North Melbourne brought one of their biggest fans here today at Waverley because to keep the players cool as they come on and off the field. Not a bad ploy because down here the conditions are still very, very warm, and in the last 2 or 3 minutes the wind has turned towards the last scoreboard end, which has left the screen. I think it's between 1 and 2 goals.
Well, thanks, Dipper. I thought you were going to talk about Ron Casey then, one of North Melbourne's biggest fans. He has been for a while. Mike Sexton, Darren Framato.
Eyes on the ball, fellas. Straight
2 umpires. We have 3, and the ball has bounced. North Melbourne going left of screen in the first quarter, and their new jumpers look pretty good, actually, I must admit. Armstrong. First kick down towards a very open forward line, and out comes, guess who? The superstar of the AFL.
Given a lot of latitude on that occasion, Peter, was Carey, and an easy chest mark, well within kicking distance.
Peter McKenna would kick them from there, wouldn't you, Pete?
Well, certainly not now, Pete. But he really is a superstar, and you could hear the crowd lift as he came out to take that mark.
Not a big crowd, probably around about the 7,000 mark. Carey from 55 metres. Goes long towards the goal. Gets the distance, not the accuracy, and one behind.
Actually, could have run a little bit closer to the man on the mark. There's the North bench. Campbell in the foreground. Mark Roberts. It's good to see Mark coming back. He's had a wretched run with injuries.
The kick into the half-back line. There's Darryl White, but chipping across in front is Wayne Swass. It looks like White might have the job on Carey. Johnny Longmire trying to make space. Swass is a beautiful left foot kick. This one a little bit wobbly, but up in front of goal. Pressure. Oh, look at the mark. Darryl White showing enormous class. Gets it further afield to Voss. Voss around the corner to Clark. Oh, he's dropped the sitter at half-back. Rock comes in to put the pressure on, and the Bears take it out. And here's Voss at half-back. Brings it around the boundary. I'm looking for Scott McIver and finds him on centre wing.
Scotty McIver, close to centre wing. Not too much breeze to speak of. It was expected to swing around to the south this afternoon. Gilbert McAdam and Boston McAdam, two players that were out for a long time last year, injured. Courage! Yes, a great grab taken by Steve Lawrence. That's the son of Barry Lawrence. Still trying to pick it up. Might have got a push in the back. Did get a push in the back, and he'll get a free kick.
Oh, wasn't that excellent play for a guy in his first game? Fantastic.
Well, he didn't know what was coming either, did he, Don? He committed himself.
We didn't see just earlier there running with a flight of the ball, just only eyes for the ball.
I saw a player through the glasses coming, and I thought, oh, gee, I hope this is not going to be one of those collisions. Good view of the goals as he lines them up. Steve Lawrence, he's hooked it. Doesn't kick as well as his father. Two Bears were there. Could have had a chance to bring that down. That was Justin Lepich, number 23 on the left. And the ball will be thrown in Brisbane's left forward pocket.
And good to see Justin Lepich back playing, because he's one of those many players that's had a knee reconstruction. There's Ross Smith trying to take it out of defence. He's a tough cookie across that half-back line for North. There's Lepich in the centre of things there, and the umpire's going to come in and bounce.
And those Bears forwards are certainly working hard, and you can see a bit of feeling in the game. There was a free kick. I don't know which way it's going to go. A bit of pushing and shoving. Alex Ishchenko was one involved. It's Merritt, the other fellow, is it?
They're still going on with it. Merritt, is the umpire going to hand it to Merritt? Now, there's a North Melbourne player hurt here.
Archer, I think it is, Pete.
Could be Glenn Archer, and they're a bit of feeling out there, and the trainers immediately called for the stretcher. So yes, that is Glenn Archer.
I didn't see what happened to him. There's a big pack of players around, and then Archer went to the ground. Let's see if we can pick it up. Watch to the left of screen.
That was
yes, but that's
we
within the rule.
All we said was a hard knock, Don. A very, very hard knock. And he copped it right in the head.
With the hip, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes, and I think, it can do a lot of damage when the hip collides with the head.
6 interchange players today, and David King looks as though he's going to be his replacement.
David King, formerly of Port Melbourne, very pacey player. There's Roger Merritt. I think it was Merritt who gave the shirt front.
It was Merritt, but just prior to that, Peter, I was impressed with the way those Bears were working. They were really running hard at the ball, up on their forward line, and making it very, very hot for those North Melbourne defenders.
He seems to be okay. Of course, we had an umpire knocked out here last night. He was carried from the ground on a stretcher. Darren McCauley. An accident, of course. Glenn Archer seems to be conscious. Let's take another look at that replay, and again, watch the left of the screen. Archer, number 11, the blonde hair, come into view now. There. So that happened in the first minute or so of the game, didn't it?
Oh, it was a very heavy knock. There's David King. Now let's hope Glenn Archer, he's conscious. That's the main thing.
David was one of the finds of North Melbourne last year.
Super quick.
He surprisingly quick for his size. And doesn't lack anything in the toughness department either. So,
well, he played with Port Melbourne, Pete.
That's right. You know all about that. They built them tough down there, didn't they, in Port Melbourne territory?
Great club in the BFA. There's Big Roger, who delivered that heavy bump.
So we'll have some news from the North dressing room as soon as it's available to us. So we have a bounce. Close to centre half forward for North Melbourne, for the Bears rather. Umpire says eyes on the ball. Kicked away by John Blakey towards the outer side.
It's on between Ishchenko and Merritt behind the play too. They were at it earlier after that bump on Archer, and the free kick's going Merritt's way.
Well, the umpire was right. He just said, keep your eyes on the ball, fellas, and that's what they should do. Merritt takes the free kick, might be too far out to score. Lynch gets the run at it. Martin punches it over the head of McIver, and it's through for a rush behind to the Brisbane Bears. And Merritt directing traffic, and he thought he was going to retire last year, but he's back for one last go. 1 point each.
Now Ross Smith to bring this ball back into play. Been a terrific play for North Melbourne. Now there's Keenan Reynolds on screen. It's a former Footscray, full back, full forward. He can play all over the place. Reynolds, he's king. Gives it across to Anthony Stevens, a real tough little cookie around the centre of the ground. Towards centre wing, the ball hits the deck. Players go, Anthony Rock went in very, very hard. Here's Carey getting it out. North Melbourne coming around centre wing, around the corner on the left foot goes King. A well-directed kick towards half-water. Favours Longmire, who says thank you very much. Straightens up, and he has missed the sitter.
That was bad luck because Champion did the right thing, attacked the ball, got out in front of Longmire. It was just a bad bounce. And the Bears interchange bench with the 6 players.
Not much room there, is there?
Damien Burke lining up again.
Did well last week against Sydney at Coffs Harbour.
It's certainly made for marking this afternoon, and Darryl White, one of the best aerialists in the competition. Not the greatest of hand passes. He certainly put his teammate under pressure down there. Stevens from a standing start, kicks inside 50. Carey caught out of position. 3 Brisbane Bears are there, and the mark is taken by the smallest of the trio and Andrew Buse. Another former Geelong player. We mentioned Burke on the bench. This is one of their recruits, Lawrence. Gets it out to Voss. Was he inside the boundary line? He was, says the boundary umpire. The call is to play on. No mark taken down there. That's Danilchenko going for the boundary line. One would think it's close to the last 5 minutes of the match, but with that kick, didn't have too many options though. It's out of bounds on centre wing. Cloud increasing today, top of 25. I think it's hotter than that already. I expected top 25, currently 23.
So it's on centre wing as the Bears go for it. There's Craig Lambert, the former Richmond Rover. Oh, that could have been a free kick to the Bears. Danilchenko again shuffles it out to Stevens. Already in plenty of the action, Stevens. Out to Blakey, the former Fitzroy utility player. And Blakey, clever play, looking for Wayne Carey. Oh, good mark. Darryl White doing well. Gives the hand pass back to Chapman. Chapman transfers play towards Voss in the centre of the ground. He's a very promising young player. Hooks it back to Lambert. Lambert loves to handball. This time he's forced to kick as he brings it towards the forward pocket here. Alistair Lynch and McAdam are there. Gilbert McAdam from 50 metres. Hooks it back. It starts to swing, and it could be a free kick, is it? Down the field.
It's against Laidley. You can see there Laidley and McAdam at it. There's quite a bit of feeling in this behind play.
Now, umpire's called play on. Donna's Merritt. Oh, he tried to thread it through and just missed it. There is a lot of feeling, and they're still going on with it. Laidley and Gilbert McAdam behind the plate.
Emergency umpire comes out to step between them.
Well, Dean Laidley, he plays the game pretty hard.
So a lot of feeling in this match. After Glenn Archer was KO'd, and on screen one of the unsung heroes of the North Melbourne defence. He's unspectacular, Ross Smith, but by gee, I wouldn't find a more dour character. Blakey gets it over to his teammate in Keenan Reynolds, and looks very different in a North Melbourne jersey. Clark, he was one of the stars last year. Lepich, a great ruckman. Oh, little ruck behind the ear.
Mickey Martin always makes you earn it, doesn't he? Bit of a clip around the ear.
He looks the worse for wear too, Mickey. Let's see what happened there. Merritt in front position, takes it in more ways than one.
He's holding his side as he got up. Mick Martin behind play there.
Roger Merritt looks pretty fit. 40 metres out. Oh, shocking kick.
He really didn't kick through that ball. It was like in golf term, he chipped it, Peter.
Yep.
And the toe was vertical, really, on impact. So he didn't kick through the ball. There's Martin, seems to be all right. Let's hope he is.
Well, he's a great player, Michael Martin, last year. Well, for the last few years for North Melbourne. There's the kick in, and Martin takes it. Gives off a handball. Danilchenko onto the left boot and brings it to centre wing. He's looking for Carey. Carey and White. Look at the strength of Carey. Well played. And they're having a great battle. Carey and White. As Wayne Carey, a wobbly kick to half forward. The mark is dropped. Here's Richard Champion trying to break away. He's got it. Brings it to the centre of the ground, and Darryl White's in everything. Brings it wide. Good play. Marcus Ashcroft received. Oh, almost flattened by Carey as he kicked it down towards half forward. Merritt working hard. The old-timer jumping over him was Laidley. The umpire said he gave away a free kick. And Merritt, he's right in the thick of things too.
Actually, Carey really did pull that bump there, realising the trouble he was in last year. He really could have cleaned up Ashcroft then, had he have wanted to.
Well, that's poor play as Trent Nichols. Poor play by the Bears forwards as Trent Nichols tries to chip it short and he kicks it straight to Leppich, who's moving well. Justin Leppich from 55 metres.
From Berwick originally, and as Peter mentioned earlier, had that knee injury. This will be his 3rd year of football. Let's hope he can go on. He's a good size, a good shape, and obviously he's got a lot of football ability.
Still only 19 years of age. He drives that low. Lynch and Martin Lynch. Still Alistair Lynch a chance. Good play. He worked really hard. The McAdam snaps from 15 metres, and Gilbert McAdam has goal. So that was great play by the Bears. Terrific play, Scotty, by Lynch.
Well, it was just a great piece of strength play by Lynch. The way that he and Martin were battling in the square. Now watch this, there's Lynch and there's Martin. Just a matter of strength, being able to hold your position, then get up, recover, and McAdam very good.
Lynch and McAdam combining for the first goal. On the boundary line, Dipper has some news for us.
Well, Glenn Archer's still in the rooms in the hands of the doctors, Peter. They did say he's okay, and we could expect him back on the bench shortly.
Thanks, Dipper. Ashcroft for the Bears. Kicks down to half forward. Hart got underneath it. McIver couldn't take the mark. Might have been a free kick against McAdam there. The umpire says play on. Laidley does. Chips it in short. Will land round about the centre wing position, close to the boundary line. Armstrong trying to keep it in. The former Fitzroy ruck rover. Good hand pass in the end. Out it comes to Rock. Long hand pass. Lays it off well. Taken away by King. King's kick is towards half forward. It's a race. Umpire says play on. No mark taken. Kick past Lawrence. Chance for Trent Nichols. Spins out beautifully. Lovely blind turn. Onto the left foot. Spears it up towards full forward. And that's excellent forward play. Carey takes the mark 15 metres out.
Actually, there was excellent play there by Longmire. He was behind and punched the ball forward. Had he have not punched the ball forward when it came down, the Bear player in front would have certainly have taken the mark. And because he was behind, the ball was kept alive. Out to Nichols. And Nichols, in turn, down to Carey. But good play by Longmire. A lot of things don't go noticed by players. It's not a statistical thing to punch from behind, but very, very valuable as far as a team is concerned.
Darryl White's taken 3 marks, but Wayne Carey looks as though he'll get North Melbourne's first goal. Point blank range. He kicks, and it looks pretty good. It's a goal. Wayne Carey got North Melbourne's first. Gilbert McAdam got the Brisbane Bears first. And the umpire speaking to Laidley. Now, there was a bit to do between that pair. I don't know whether a number's been taken or whether that was a warning. You'll find out a little bit more later on. But there's
he's
still
a tough nut. He's not very big lately, as you can see there, but he's a tough nut.
I don't think I'd pinch Gilbert beer in a pub either. So back to the centre, and the game, as we said, has got plenty of feeling.
You see there, McAdam's giving him something in the chest as well.
Good old-fashioned stuff, Don. It's just
it's not bad. It shows it's always good in football to see a little bit of emotional involvement.
There was Swash trying to crash his way through and sock it off the ground down towards half forward where McIver is there for the Bears, but Laidley shuffles it out. Danilchenko, who's under enormous pressure, gets it in with a hand pass. Anthony Rock went without it. Well played by Lambert. Beautiful football under Chapman. Chapman, the long kick. He's looking down here for towards Big Roger Merritt. He's got it. Tries to sprint clear. Can't get away, but gets in a hand pass. The hand pass come back from McIver. Taken away by Scholl. He was held by Ashcroft. Taken by McIver again. Could have been a free kick down there. Here's Leppich, an open goal. He kicks. And what's he done with this? He has goal. Good play by the Bears. They worked very, very hard for that one.
Just watching Keenal Reynolds, Peter, running after Roger Merritt. He's very flat-footed and not moving particularly well. There he is, number 20. See the tackling by the Bears on that forward line. That was Ashcroft who upset Scholl, but he could have put it over to Merritt. Leppich, but decided to go on. And the Bears second.
Umpires again wearing caps as they did yesterday in the Hawthorn-Geelong practice game. Ishenko in the ruck for the Roos. Against Clark, big leap. Terrific leap.
And Oshenko's hurt too, Peter, back in the square centre circle.
Scott's kick up towards half forward, no mark taken.
Wow.
And the Brisbane Bears defending pretty well. Gowers and McAdam marks in front of Laidley.
He's on his feet now, Alex Oshenko.
Just landed a bit awkwardly.
Well, I think he might have got a knee in the head.
That one you had with Gary Dempsey years ago, Donny. Kennedy.
Well, that's better by Reynolds. He was running behind earlier.
Reynolds kicks it out to Stevens, who had a great 1994. Stevens kick up towards the centre wing position. Again, no mark taken. Opportunity for North Melbourne to try to get the ball forward. That was Capuano. Kick off the ground for the Bears. And a mark taken by McAdam, who happened to be in the right place at the right time. He's got in short. Oh, put his teammate under pressure down there. That was Andy Buse.
Bad option.
Well, it was on. There was movement there, Peter.
He was covered, Don. He should have been bringing it long down to the forward line.
I think that's what Robert Walls would be on the phone about. And Busey just had to stand there and wait for the knee in the back, and it came. Clark gets set to battle with Oshenko.
Oshenko has recovered. Clark won that one. Schwass got a 2 feet kick, that one was. And kicked quickly by little Anthony Rock, and he puts it out on the full. Andrew Buse is off the ground.
And Hodges is coming on, the North Adelaide recruit.
North Melbourne hot favourites, 5-1 on, 11-4 Brisbane. Now, Voss, a very promising young player, up towards full forward. Lynch and Martin, 2 strong players. Here's Lepich again.
Well, isn't he?
Tries to get in the hand pass. Gilbert McAdam onto the left boot, smothered beautifully down there. That was good play by Ross Smith, typical of his football though, as Ross Smith brings it wide towards centre wing. The race is on. Nathan Chapman, the boy from Kangaroo Flat, he went without it. They dive in, and Stevens, to the roar of delight from the North Melbourne supporters, taps it over the line. Dennis Pagan looks on.
Dennis will be quite happy with conditions a bit cooler than they were yesterday. The players appreciating it even more. Clark.
Great leap, hasn't he, Clark?
Yes.
And deceptively strong, Peter. He's got a very, very wiry frame. He's not big as far as bulk goes, you can see there. But very strong. The way he held out Oshenko earlier.
Well, it's deceptive too, Don. I remember standing next to him at the Gabba one day, and he's a lot thicker than you think. And then I'm not talking about between the ears either. I'm talking about bulk. He is a big boy. But he has got a great lead. Look at that. Again, can't get it to a teammate. Rock helps cut it over the line. Lambert's there as well.
Pete, I reckon we're in for an enormous clash down the other end of the ground there. Wayne Carey against Darryl White. We've already seen it. Both players doing particularly well.
White has taken 3 marks. And again, the big leap. He tried to find Kennedy. Clark couldn't do so. North Melbourne's tackling a feature so far. Umpire's letting it go. Finally spooned out to Rock. It came from Oshenko. It's going to be another bounce on centre wing.
So certainly the players relishing the conditions now. It's a little bit cooler than what was expected as the quick kick comes out from Andrew Gowers towards Steve Lawrence. Lawrence tries to bring it around the boundary line. It's forced over the line, but it might have been out in the full. It was. And Craig Scholl will take this kick at half back. Scholl, one of those underrated players playing the game, looking for Carey. White was there with him. Here's Blakey over the back. He's pretty mobile, Blakey. Oh, forced forward. Blakey still going on with it. Still Blakey. Eventually the pressure comes in. Trent Nichols has got it. Quick hand pass. He's looking for Adrian McAdam. He's brought the ground, and how the umpires see that, he's calling play on, and now it'll be a throw in deep in that forward pocket.
The highlight, Peter, of this play so far is the way the Bears are getting numbers to the ball. On that occasion, there was 3 Bears, 1 North Melbourne player.
There's Alex Oshenko having a spell on the bench. Carey doing the ruck work. This is Matthew Kennedy. Oh, too slow to get rid of it. Scott McIver. He's a good handballer, McIver, normally. Here's Darryl White running away from half-back. A clever little chip pass. That's good football to Lepich.
He's not bad, is he?
Centre wing. He's
very impressive.
Oh, White could be a superstar.
He could be.
I'm not talking about Lepich moving well too.
Has had a few injury problems, Darryl White. And these two having a ding-dong struggle in more ways than one. Laidley.
Some great matchups going on. Mick Martin versus Alistair Lynch.
Put Merritt down there to be interesting, wouldn't it? Kick up towards half forward. Voss tries to get it to a teammate. A wall of North Melbourne players were there. Nichols kick.
Oh, great mark.
Terrific stuff. Now this is Chapman. He's got in short. Bears defence standing up well. That's Gowers. Kicks it towards the half-back line. Now Lawrence. Stephen Lawrence, son of Barry Lawrence, no relation to Hawthorn's big ruckman.
Well, I played on Barry Lawrence a few times myself, Pete, and he was a terrific footballer. Not all that tall, but tough and hard and a lot of skill.
Still played key position players and played well. One of the greats to come out of Tasmania. Played full back, full forward. So the two youngsters go at it, the two number 16s, Clark and Capuano. I think they'll be two of the superstars of the AFL and ruck in years to come. Laidley getting on top of McAdam now down there at half-back. Carey.
Well done.
Beautiful hand pass to Schwass. Back into some great form last year. Wayne Schwass from left half forward could just about kick this. Will it straighten up? It will. Yes! Great kick! Great goal! Oh, Wayne Schwass, what a beauty. North Melbourne second, and the Bears lead by 1 point.
Yes, well, I like the way that Carey hit the ball at centre half. There it is there. Coming up from centre half forward, he's in the centre square. Lays it off well to Schwass. Heavy Shepherd going to come here on White from Rock. But inside that 50-metre circle, he lets fly Wayne. His first goal.
Well, a classical goal bat to North Melbourne. Great play by Carey to give it off, and after he gave off the hand pass, he shepherded and did everything there. Stevens goes to ground and the umpire will bounce, but still the Bears lead by a point. It's been a terrific first quarter of football, and the Bears showing they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. There's Glenn Archer. That's good news, and he looks pretty bright and alert.
It's amazing how fast you can recover when you're fit, Peter. Physically fit.
Now let's see how Clark goes in this ruck contest. We've talked about his leap. Here he comes. Oh, and he won it easily too. Look at that, out towards Leppich. Scholl's after him. Scholl grabbed after he handballed it, and it'll be a holding the man decision to Craig Scholl.
He's also a lot taller than he looks. Scholl kicks up towards midfield. No mark taken. Chapman tries to get back there. Socket away by Carey. More kick travels a good 35 to 40 metres. Gets it inside 50. North Melbourne with the numbers at half forward. Back it comes to Carey. Gets onto his left foot. Spears the pass towards centre half forward. Kennedy's in the road. Takes it away. Long looping hand pass. The Bears should be able to get out of this. They will. Lambert has to kick again, but it's a well-directed kick, and Matt Kennedy at centre half back takes the mark. Bears defence working overtime.
Played on the wing last week, Kennedy, and doing well.
McAdam and Laidley, the two protagonists of the first quarter so far. Now another Bears snapshot for goal. That came from the youngster Akamanis. Loose ball in the square. Oh, Alistair Lynch, if he can gather it, if it was a plum pudding, would have splattered all over his face.
Oh, certain goal. Missed.
I guess that's pressure put on by number 4 for North Melbourne. 2-4 to 2-2.
Well, he's in for a tough day, Alistair Lynch, because he's playing on that man there on screen, and whoever plays on Michael Martin has a very, very hard day, as Gary Ablett would testify. There's Keenan Reynolds. Ross Smith does a lot of the kicking in after behinds. Now he's told to kick it in. He's been given a warning by the umpire to hurry it up. Clark didn't quite hang on to it.
Should have punched from behind, Peter.
Kennedy, he's copped one in the back. North Melbourne off and running again. Here they go for King towards half forward. A one-on-one contest. Good play. Good pressure by Anthony Rock. He's brought to ground. Adrian McAdam went without it. Hand pass. That came out for the Brisbane Bears from Shane Hodges, a recruit from North Adelaide. And eventually the kick to centre.
Good mark.
The mark's taken by Danilchenko.
Well, he gets bowled over as he kicked. Centering kick
Good
by
effort.
him. Oh, courage needed there. No mark was taken. Now Lambert gets away from Schwass with a nice balk. Ashcroft could be in trouble. A little palm out though. That was very clever. Unfortunately, the ball didn't sit for his teammate. It'll come back to Kennedy.
That's the way.
Mammoth kick by Kennedy. His dad could kick them beautifully. Lynch tries to make amends. Danilchenko pounces on. No, it was Reynolds rather. The two blondes down there on the centre half back line. And away go the Roos. This is Blakey along the boundary line. Former Fitzroy utility player gets to centre wing. And a good long kick to half forward.
Oh,
Ball spilled
maybe
free in
holding the man. Yes.
Holding the man, yes.
Great spoil by Darryl White then when Carey looked as though he was going to take a chest mark.
Terrific duel, that. Here goes White now. White's kick to centre wing. And the mark taken by Jason Akamatis. Teal Cup player. Expecting a lot from him this year up north. Ashcroft.
Well done.
Outnumbered.
Kept his eye on the ball too.
Tries to get it back to McAdam. No one coming in to offer him assistance. A long hand pass eventually down towards half forward. Ashcroft's kick. Pinpoint accuracy to Roger Merritt.
The skills really of the players nowadays, Peter. It's really quite remarkable, isn't it?
This is a great game of football. It is
Kennedy's going off too, by the way. There he is.
And Lappin coming on.
Terrific
Lappin,
kick.
good young player, but this is a top game of football, high class.
Can they keep it up for 4 quarters? That's the big question. 2.5 minutes left in this term. Merritt.
Actually, these conditions may favour Brisbane too.
Merritt 15 metres out. Goal umpire has it moved. It's a goal.
Well, Roger Merritt, 1 goal, 2. I have him marked down for. And that was well spotted by Ashcroft. To find Merritt, given a little bit of latitude by Delanchenko. Mucked around with the ball here a bit. McAdam went left, right, and finally a handball to Ashcroft. Really kept his eye on the ball in the earlier instance. Ashcroft, a very important player.
Three-four plays 2-2. Good start to the Bears. Gilbert McAdams had.
Now that's a result of what happened earlier.
That was uncalled for.
Maybe if we can get, I don't know if we can talk to our director and get a replay, but you could see the way that Ishenko went in because he got hit earlier by Clark with a high knee, and he was going to even up that time, Ishenko, then went in with the knee as the ball went down. There's a bit of feeling out there.
This could be blood rule, I'd say. Yeah. And Damien Burke to come back on and contest this ruck duel. And obviously around.
He's okay, Clark. I think it.
Now watch this. Watch the way Ishenko goes in. He really only. Now hang on. Here it is. There.
Oh.
Now, that's a square up from earlier.
They're your old tactics, Don.
No, well, that's what it's all about, the ruck play. They work one another out.
That's Anthony Rock going
I'll educate
forward.
you.
Lappin was in there after it. Hand pass comes out. Oh, good footballs that comes further afield to Mark Roberts into an open goal, and he's hooked it. And a very, very bad miss, that one in the finish. And there's the North blokes in the best place on the ground there on the bench. The big fan. 3-4 to 2-3. Richard Champion. Oh, good kick towards the half-back line. Scott.
Ashcroft off the ground too, Peter.
The field. Oh, dear. They've mucked that one up as we see Stevens going forward. Swass at the back. And Swass takes the mark, but he is a left footer. He might try and play on here.
Craven replaced him too.
Because he is a left footer and he's on the wrong side of the ground.
Actually, that's good replacement work by the Bears hierarchy because they're giving their runners a rest. They're very important around midfield, and there's the angle we can see there. Now, remember, Wayne Schwash, a left footer. Now, what would he do? Peter, go to the right foot?
Get out to the right.
Well, he should go back a little bit further.
Unless he goes for a banana kick, but I think he might play out to the right and try and hook it in. Yes, out he goes, and then the banana kick. And he's put it across the face. He sneaked it in from behind. He did. So Wayne Swass, a vital player.
Great goal he kicked before, wasn't it? Mick McGuan-esque.
There's still a goal behind. It's been a good quarter, and I'd say the breeze certainly favouring the end that North Melbourne's kicking to.
Yes, you might be right. It was forecast to come around from the south today. Darryl White gives away the hand pass. Chris Scott, who had a great 1994, certainly one of the finds. Burke trips over Ashenko. Opportunity for Voss. Gets around Roberts. Goes for a little pass. Picked up by Lambert. He's in trouble. Roberts has got him.
Didn't go far enough, the umpire must have said.
And Lambert not too happy. Blakey gives it away. Rock straight down the spine of the ground. Big pack of players down there. None can bring it down. North Melbourne with the runners. Champion will put that down as a kick. It's knocked out to King, who came on from the bench. King has a snapshot at goal, and he too has missed to the left-hand side That makes the difference 5 points late in the first quarter. Looks as though he's got a couple of rounds with Kostya-Tszyu, isn't he? That left eyebrow. Actually, it was a knee, but he's okay. Champion takes the mark in the back pocket. One of the last kicks of the first quarter. Only a few seconds left. Low trajectory drop punt. This is Lappin. There's the siren to win the first quarter. Very interesting term. Certainly had a lot of feeling in it. And less than a goal the difference. Lambert limping, I guess, after that tackle before when he was free kicked. 3-4-22. The Bears leading North Melbourne 2-5-17. The Bears lead by 5 points at quarter time. Lepic, Merritt and Gilbert McAdam, the goal kickers for them. And for North Melbourne, Wayne Schwass and Wayne Carey, the two goal kickers. And don't forget on 7 Sport, coming up this afternoon, the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship Round 2 from Symonds Plains. John Bow has the pole position. Check your local guides for our coverage on 7 Sport. Down to the boundary, Dipper.
Thanks very much, Pete. Well, as you guys said, it is a tough game from down here. And both Wayne Carey and Roger Merritt had a bit to say to their players. Robert Walls did say to Merritt and Lynch to give each other room because they seem to be flying for the same marks up at their forward line and to give each other an opportunity to kick goals. And what Robert Walls was very happy with was every player was responsible for their man. And as Peter McKenna did say, the wind is going towards the scoreboard end. It has picked up from about a 2-goal breeze to now a 3 to 4 goal breeze.
Thanks, Dipper. Enjoy the breeze down there. The pre-season history of the clubs. North Melbourne certainly the better, but just the one premiership. Runners up 4 times, 2 semi-finals, 2 quarters, and that record can be matched there only by the Bears' 2 quarter-finals in pre-season competition so far in the AFL. Don Scott, I know you enjoyed the first quarter. Sort of football that you used to play, and good to see Glenn Archer.
What do you mean used to play? And there's Glenn Archer, who received a heavy knock from Roger Merritt, but as I said, when these guys are fit, they can recover very, very quickly, and it's good to see he's all right. But the Bears really going about it in numbers. I'm impressed with the way they're delivering the ball, and really, you've got to take your hat off and congratulate the hierarchy out there because they've got a plan, they're working to it, and the results are now starting to show. As there's the stats, Peter, what can you glean
Well,
from
I'd
those?
say the 31 marks to 15 means that the Bears have had a lot of the football. They've been chipping the ball around.
Chipping it around,
not
whereas
all high marks.
Well, whereas North Melbourne do go longer into their forward line, don't they?
Well, that's their pattern of play, and no wonder with good key forwards like Keary and Longmire. And I'm just so impressed with the game. So a very, very high standard for so early in the year under difficult conditions.
It is a high standard game.
The ground's in great order, Pete.
Well, Ian Collins told us before the match they'd spent $350,000 on the stadium over the summer, and that includes bringing the goalpost in about 3 metres. Good hip and shoulder out there. Chance for the Roos. Armstrong got away the expeditious hand pass. The umpire.
It's on again behind play.
Yes.
That's Armstrong being involved. Now, the umpire should pick that up, and I think it was Burke. Both up on their feet now.
He did blow. There was a shocking kick. This is Nichols now the chance. As Dipper said at quarter time, the breeze could be a factor. It has picked up. Nichols gets the order to play on. He does. He kicks it into the pocket. Oh, great mark, Carey. Terrific grab.
He really is a great player, isn't he?
And if possible, seems to have bulked up even more over the summer. Looks in real good shape.
Nichols, a great find for North Melbourne last year, particularly up around midfield. And there's Wayne Carey. Great athleticism, Carey, in playing in probably the most difficult position on the ground, centre half forward.
So for his second goal, even closer in than the one he kicked in the first quarter. A goal here would put North Melbourne in front by 1 point. Carey kicks and goals. The Roos lead.
His second Carey, trotting back to centre half forward position. He's very deep in the forward line on that occasion. And this is the turnover. Stevens, midfield, across to Nichols, and Nichols in turn long, and this is a trademark of North Melbourne, I suppose, when you've got Longmire and Carey up there, go long and quick into your forward line. And that's the way the forwards like the ball delivered, Peter, quickly.
Yeah, and that's why you can't afford mistakes like that. Poor kick by Chris Scott allowed that goal. So North Melbourne by a point. Burke versus Schenko. Here's Craven. Smothered off the bit. Lappin cleverly got it out towards Fletcher. He was almost steamrolled. He knocks it on. Here's Craven again, former St Kilda rover. That's how a handballed out. Was it a throw? It was Robert Scott. And I think he might have deemed the throw. Michael Voss, a very promising young player, will take this kick. Now, the leads are on. He kicks it long towards the pocket.
It's a free kick to Martin.
They were both holding, and the umpire saw it in favour of Michael Martin. That's where his strength really does show out. Armstrong, Matthew Armstrong to centre wing. Carey again. Look at the recovery and the cleverness to get away and then just soccer that ball off the ground. A hand pass comes back towards Voss. Voss on top of it, shuffled out back towards Lappin. Socket further off the ground towards half forward for North Melbourne.
Well done,
Burke did very, very well.
My word, he did.
Taken by Trent Nichols. On to Anthony Stevens. Stevens, an open goal looming. Chips it in and puts it through for a goal. Excellent play by North Melbourne. There's a happy supporter as North move further in front. They now lead by 7 points.
So Stevens having a hand in the last 2 goals. Great kicking that one himself, of course.
Great admirer of Anthony Stevens, a real worker. And Nichols again involved. There was Stevens across to Nichols earlier, who in turn got it down to Carey. And those two combining once again, but Stevens finishing it off well.
2 quick goals to North Melbourne starting the second quarter. They started the first when they lost Glenn Archer, so a much better passage of the game for them here. Is Schenko, a fumble. And he gets it out. Blakey from a standing start. Not a long kick. Punch away for the Bears came from Chapman. Craven, who came on late in the first quarter to replace Ashcroft. Lepich underneath it. Couldn't handle it. Scholl right behind him, so he goes off the ground. Laidley, McAdams got him. Down he goes. And got the desired result, but he kicks out of bounds on the full. Free kick to the Brisbane Bears side. It'll be taken for them down there by Akamatis. And off the hands of the pack. Throw in. Inside 50, about 40 metres from goal. Bears goalless in the second quarter so far. North Melbourne has 2. Ashenko and Merritt. Merritt gets front position, gets it down. Laidley was there. McAdam, Nichols. Nichols will see it safely over the line. And another McAdam on the bench there for North Melbourne. That's Adrian McAdam. Haven't seen too much of him so far today. Had a great debut year. Didn't quite fire as they would have liked in 1994. Ashenko to Danilchenko. Stevens again. Good tackle, Fletcher. Kennedy, who's just come back onto the ground. Real slips catch that one. And he could just about kick this. He's a mammoth kick if he gets onto it. Not so this time. Puts it out in front of goal. Martin and Lynch, another wrestle.
Got to get in front. I mean, Lynch has got to get in front. He's been caught on 2 occasions behind. He gave a free kick away earlier, and there is another free kick.
He's being...
I mean, that's frustrating for the guys up the ground to have a forward behind.
He's getting beaten in the strength department. Here's Lappin, and he'll have to start leading. Here's Nigel Lappin. Bring it in short, and the mark has been taken there by Sean Hart. But particularly with Merritt down there, Don, you've got a man to do the heavy work.
Well, in actual fact, Peter, he must have been listening to you because he offered the lead then on that kick. Now, Ashcroft is coming on the ground. I think that's... No, is that... No, Craven coming off. They look a little the same, Buse and Craven. There we go.
And Marcus Ashcroft coming on. Now, Sean Hart, well, he's a left footer, so he's on the right side of the ground. Will kick from 45 metres. They could do with this one, the Bears. He puts it up high, it floats back, and what's the goal up by saying he's missed. So North to bring it back into play, 4-5 to 3-5. Still only 6 points. There's Craig Lambert there getting some attention. We saw him limp off at quarter time. Now, Laidley, former West Coast Eagle, and he finds Blakey. Enormous number of players out there today have played with other league clubs. And it's punched away towards centre wing. That's Akamanis. Here's Mickey Martin way out there at half back. As Martin steadies, brings it in towards Carey and White. Oh, Carey again. A terrific clash going on here. Carey getting on top. As he brings it to half forward. He's looking for Longmire. He loses front position then, Johnny Longmire. Socket away, back towards the boundary line, scooped up, and eventually it rolls over the line, half forward for North Melbourne.
We talk about the attributes of White, Peter, at centre half back, but one thing where I don't think he does much is that in the gymnasium. Really got to work on that strength side of his game.
Burke and Roberts. And Roberts again takes the hand pass. Kicks it out in front of goal. Oh, plenty of willing fists there to punch the ball clear. It comes to Kennedy. Stevens, good tackle, Fletcher. Ball up towards half forward. Scott out in front of goal. He's found his teammate there in Michael Voss, who chips it in short.
They've
Kennedy
got the
again.
numbers, Brisbane.
Back to Voss. Lappin running past. Ashcroft is there as well. Ashcroft from right centre wing kicks it down to half forward. Badly directed kick, picks out Laidley, and North Melbourne come away again. Reynolds kicks up towards midfield. Armstrong. Yes, you're right. A lot of players have played with other league clubs when you think about it. Scholl, he's a North Melbourne man, through and through.
Good mark.
Longmire had to punch. Umpire didn't pay the mark in the end. White spoons out the hand pass. Opportunity out there for Hodges, close to the centre wing, and Hodges tries to pick out a teammate, and he does so in Gilbert McAdam.
Well, he's done some nice things, Shane Hodges. McAdam had a very good first term, had 6 kicks.
I'm impressed with this guy.
Yeah, so am I.
I just think he's a real cut for a footballer.
Justin Lepage.
Now there's Lynch on the lead. That's good.
That's better. Hart hooks it around towards the pocket.
But Merritt's
Caught behind was Merritt. Here's Akamanis. He's very quick. Gets his boot to it. I think it was touched off the boot. And one behind. But that was good play by the young fellow to get that ball onto his boot very, very quickly. Now, the report down on the boundary line on Craig Lambert. Dipper.
Yes, Pete, nothing too seriously. The physio's just going through some stretching exercises. He has some back stiffness.
North Melbourne by 5 points. Thanks, Dipper. Rock tries to pick out King. Oh, Mark, free kick, whatever. Away he goes. The former Port star, King from midfield, kicks up towards half forward. Carey got a fingernail to it, and that's all. Scott goes off the ground. Probably his best and, in fact, only option. It's out of bounds in North Melbourne's left forward pocket. Scott keen to make amends for virtually giving one away earlier in the term. A poor pass. resulting in a Stevens goal. So boundary throw in. Roberts might do the ruck work. He will against Burke. With Clark still on the sidelines with that cut eye, he might come on midway through the quarter. Scott actually hooks it wide. Trent Nichols racing forward. The boundary line is too close. King comes in for assistance. It's out of bounds. 55 metres from goal. 13.5 minutes left in the half. So the Bears have worked it around a little bit from the North Melbourne goal. Roberts and Burke again. Well, the boundary umpire's thrown it at 1.5 miles and beat them all. Fletcher tries to find Scott with a hand pass. He does. Kick around the boundary line, one-on-one. Scholl beats Leppich this time. King comes in to try to give him assistance. Scholl, the pass not good. Fletcher chips in front of his teammate. A little bit of talking needed there.
Good.
It's out of bounds.
The harassment's good on both sides, actually. They're really working on that, and it's great to see.
So another boundary throw in left forward pocket for the Roos.
Looked like Wayne Schwash was away there, but just a desperate effort by one of those Bears pushed him over the boundary line.
Well, North Melbourne by 5 points. Also a bit of a whack high there. Now, which way is it going? There was
against Burke.
I thought there was a couple of high tackles there. And it's going against the Bears to the way of Ashenko. Now, probably the distance will be a little bit doubtful for Alex.
Got a whack on the goal.
Oh, whack across
Actually,
the
he did that earlier, Burke, but the ball was thrown a little bit high when he went against Mark Roberts.
Alex Ashenko. Oh, not a bad-looking kick, but he's hooked it. Well, not a bad-looking kick off the boot, but he hooked it badly and out in the full. Not noted as a top goal kicker. Troy Clark. Well, they need him back on too, don't
Matthew
they?
Clark.
Matthew Clark, I should say. Troy
I don't know.
Clark's
Burke's doing not a bad job.
Oh, you need Matthew Clark out in that ground, as we see Richard Champion to half back. King was the flyer. It was thumped away. Back towards Scott. Chris Scott has got it on half back. Lappin around the corner towards centre wing. And no mark. Swash was there. Hand pass was from Sean Hart onto Ashcroft. Here's Adrian Fletcher, former St Kilda centreman. Good play. This bloke's been pretty impressive. Hodges, he can run too. Handballs over the top. Onto Leppich. Leppich straightens up from 45 metres. Bombs it in low. And the mark taken by big Roger Merritt. Good play by the Bears all the way from half back. And Robert Walls is happy with that. Look at that grin. You don't often see coaches smiling during a game, Don.
And the change has been made too, Peter, with Burke going off and Clark on.
Roger Merritt, will he run out and make some space? He's on the boundary line. Great camera shot. We're right behind him here. And to see how difficult a shot it is, will he run out or will he have a direct shot? Direct shot. And he hooks it. One behind.
Well, I've made that 1 goal through to Roger Merritt.
I think he'd be really happy, Robert Walls, with what he's seen from the Bears.
Rock's coming off for North Melbourne.
Yes, and coming on
is Warren Campbell.
Warren Campbell, number 9.
Oh, Scott coming off.
Robert Scott coming off. Yes, you're right. And the umpires, you can just telling the players, you kick off from full back. The rule a little bit different this year. Laidley. Merritt being whistled back on the mark. Laidley having that great deal with McAdam. Not a great kick. In fact, a very, very poor kick. And Brisbane will bring the ball deep into their attacking area again, and McAdam it will be. Kick number 8. Lovely balk. Geez, got some skills, this fellow. Straightens up for goal. It will go pretty close. Oh, that's an excellent kick from McAdam for a goal. Well, he's got class written all over him, hasn't he, Gilbert McAdam? 4-7 to 4-5, and Brisbane back in front by 2 points.
Yes, well, he really did sell, as we say in football, sell the dummy, Ross Smith. And McAdam easily then from 45 metres. He has really got some ability. We know that.
Well, the Bears are in front. North Melbourne looked as though they're getting on top and can't shake them off. Bigashenko went without it. Fletcher caught, tries to get in a hand pass, and they pounce in on top, and it will be a bounce. That was brilliant play. There's by McAdam a moment ago. There's Dennis Pagan, but McAdam all along I think he was going to run round Dean Laidley on the mark for that last goal. It's just shows the skill of Gilbert McAdam. Here's Clark versus Zashenko. Quick kick by Rock out towards Carey. Carey taps it on. Good play, Carey. Brilliant play by Wayne Carey. Brings it back towards full forward, but Champion again. Longmire's been caught behind a number.
But also that was good work by White on that occasion. If you really put your forward under pressure, as White did then, just dragging Carey, the other fellows playing in front, you reap the reward. And that was a missed kick. Well done, Champion, and well done, White too.
Well, that was Voss getting it to Kennedy, and now a free kick here on centre wing. I think it's Laidley going to receive this one.
Now Rock is definitely coming off this time.
So Dean Laidley having a great battle with McAdam. He brings it to centre wing. Clark sets himself, hooks it down with the one hand, and eventually it's forced over the line on the true centre wing position, with the Bears leading by 2 points.
There's Rock, and he's been replaced by John Barnett. Now John Barnett played a couple of games last year, or quite a few games, and he's a former Hawthorn Rover.
Now the Roos clear it from the centre wing throw in. Carey in front. White gets out the hand pass. Champion on the burst from full back. Oh, magnificent kick. He's kicked that 60 metres to half forward.
Well done, McAdam.
McAdam with the punch. He's knocked it straight down to Scholl, though, who runs his full distance. And Scholl with a well-directed pass. Ishenko, King fumbles at the crucial moment. He gets around the Brisbane Bears youngster, though, in Akamatis. The kick comes up towards the centre half forward position. Oh, great mark! Has been brought in by Darryl White.
What a clash.
He has grabbed in some speckies today. Gowers, former Hawk utility.
North Melbourne really do rely on Carey and Longmire, don't they? Because they're the only two players in that semicircle, the 50-metre semicircle.
Akamatis' kick to the centre square area, where it's McIver who relays it down further forward. The bounce beats the ball, except number 4 for North Melbourne in Martin. Onto Blakey, a nice balk around Merritt. Danilchenko gives it back to Blakey. So a chain of hand passes now. Barnett, as Don said, just come onto the ground. Formerly a youngster with Hawthorn. Carey sold the dummy. The hand pass is accurate. Now it comes on to Stevens, who goes goal. Goal umpire says, what is it? It looks good. It's there. So Stevens, he's kicked 2 this quarter and had a hand in another, and North Melbourne regained the lead by 4 points, 5-5 to 4-7.
And again, Carey got involved. Now watch the way Carey hits the ball here, then lays it off. It's about all you can do at centre half forward, hoping players are running past. Well done by Stevens, his second goal.
North in front by 4 points. Anthony Stevens has kicked 2 goals in this quarter, and Craig Lambert back on for the Bears. Clark, well, he's beaten for that one by Capuano. Taken away by Fletcher. Fletcher to half forward. Laidley against Sean Hart now, I think, Laidley. Oh, quick kick was by King. Centre of the ground. Who's going to grab? Oh, it's hooked back a throw, I think the umpire said.
Longmire coming off too, Pete. He's going to be replaced by McAdam.
So Scott gets it across to Gowers. Gowers to half forward. The high flyers are there, and it's a free kick going the way of the Bears.
Against Archer.
And yes, again, Johnny Longmire, he's been pretty quiet. He's been caught behind a bit. Scott McIver brings it to the pocket. Lynch slips over, and it clears the pack and over the line. They've got to get more out of Alistair Lynch. He's being well held at the moment by Mick Martin. They rely on Lynch so much.
Well, it's a difficult position to play up on that forward line.
Especially against Mick Martin, but Lynch, of course, had shoulder problems last year. He's still worried by it. He did tell us in that interview beforehand with Bill McDonald that he had been suffering from a virus. He was at last getting over it, he thought. And he's not quite over it yet. 8 minutes left in the half. Looks a little bit proppy there too, doesn't he, the way he was walking?
He's got that left knee heavily bandaged.
Maybe he's not 100%. It's in the Bears' right forward pocket. Lynch does the ruck work, knocks it down. That was Hart. With a snapshot of goal. Off target, it's out of bounds on the full, and the free kick to the Roos in the left back pocket to be taken by Dean Laidley. Directing him where to kick, which he does. Archer in front, couldn't take it. Shuffled out to McAdam. Oh, good long kick. Oh, that's a beautiful kick. Oh, just off target.
How's that for the left boot, Don?
No, as we've said, Peter, and admired, he's got a lot of skill. Was that Ross Smith?
On the hip.
5-5 to 4-8. 3 points the difference.
Down the other end of the ground is an interesting matchup. Gilbert McAdam, I said Gilbert, I mean
Adrian.
his brother Adrian is against Champion. Now it's going to be an interesting battle because McAdam more mobile than what Champion is.
Laidley kicks in and taken away by Armstrong. He chips it in short, opens it up for Scholl, close to centre wing.
Craig Scholl has got the running Wayne Swass. Swass has a bounce. Exciting player, Swass. Gets it to Barnett. Barnett, a beautiful kick and finds Trent Nichols. Now, players running everywhere here for North, but no one back in the square, so he's forced to chip it in short to Carey. Well, you wouldn't put it past Carey, although a slight breeze is kicking into. He'll be kicking
White?
from 54 metres.
Pick White up his opponent.
Well, Wayne Carey has kicked 2, 1 in each quarter so far. And from 55 metres, it'll take a very good kick. Won't quite get there. There's his opponent, White, up there. He gets it out, White. Good play. On to Ashcroft. Ashcroft around the boundary line looking for Champion. You should just keep tapping it on, Champion. He's quite happy to see it over the line. Half forward for North Melbourne.
Developing into a very handy player is Champion. Getting across with a huge reputation from South Australia, and took a while to settle in, but now starting to perform.
Yes, he's slotted in well to the full-back position. Seems to be his best for the Bears. Kick away by Trent Nichols. Finds Campbell. Campbell on the burst at half forward. Looks for Schwass, who kicked a Mick McGuan type goal in the first quarter. Bends it back with that left foot. Carey with Bolt. Might have given away a free kick for in the back. He has done. North fans not appreciative of that decision, but I think the correct one. Carey not too happy with it either. Andy Gowers. He won't be happy with that. He kicks straight into Mark Roberts. That's not a difficult thing to do, mind you. More difficult in years past.
Don't bring up his old nickname, for goodness sake.
The fridge. He still wears it, but a lot fitter. Been through a couple of clubs since, of course. But a great asset for North Melbourne. Came back after that knee problem he had. Did well. Capuano gives the hand pass to Roberts, whose snapshot is off target. And one behind to North Melbourne. Yes, he did play, of course, for Brisbane. Mark Roberts, a short stint there. Was at Sydney. That's Greg Miller on the boundary line. 5-6 to 4-8. 4 points the difference.
Former South Melbourne player in the old days down at the Lakeside Oval. Played fullback. Champion, a low trajectory kick, finds Nathan Chapman. Oh, poor kick by Chapman. He's kicked it straight to Carey. You cannot afford turnovers like that.
And I think now that I think Chapman is now playing on Carey too.
Trent, oh, this is poor marking to Mark Roberts. Roberts strolls into goal, and he's missed it, I think. Yes, he has, but very poor. Well, a poor kick initially, and then poor marking by the Bears. So 5-7 to 4-8, only 5 points in it.
That frenetic pace of the first quarter has dropped off just a little bit, understandably. Gowers gives the hand pass away. And this is young Shane Hodges. Kick to half forward.
Archer.
Again a turnover. Archer himself turned over in the first quarter. Stevens. Schwass in front of Champion.
I reckon
is that 50? I reckon it might be, yep. Umpire puts the thumb up. Come this way, fella. Richard said he was hanging hold of the jumper. Not my fault. This is almost a gimme because it was just outside 50, that infringement, so this will bring him...
They're expensive, aren't they, when you give away a free kick? Now watch this on replay. Champion saying Schwass had hold of him. We'll watch. No, not really, Richard.
Is that worth 50?
Yeah. I don't think so.
No, I agree with you.
I mean, he was moving, wasn't he, Champion?
Well,
and, he was committed.
It's a nothing thing. It's a nothing thing.
A chance for his second goal. He's kicked it. So 2 goals to Schwass. That one not as spectacular as the first. Stevens has got 2 and Carey 2 for North Melbourne. Gilbert McAdam, the only dual goal kicker for the Brisbane Bears. 4-8 to 6-7, a difference of 11 points.
Yes, well, our expenses, as we mentioned, giving away a 50-metre penalty, especially on the forward line, the opposition forward line. But there's Champion, more or less committed. He let it go.
Well, they kick clear here, North Melbourne, by 11 points. As Matthew Clark takes on another Matthew, Capuano. Oh, good ruck play to Ashcroft. Ashcroft, long bomb down towards the pocket. Can Lynch get there? He can.
Well, he has led the last 3 or 4 times. Well, not 4 times. At least the last 3 times it's come onto the forward line, Lynch.
Well, he's been very, very quiet.
And I think any forward that moves,
he's
far more effective.
Well, this is his first kick. Well, let's hope for the Bears' sake it's a goal as he chips it in. Oh, an ordinary kick, one behind.
Yes, they need more out of Alistair Lynch. Probably, as I said before, not 100% fit. Alex Yashenko on the boundary line.
I think he was 100% fit. He'd be up around centre-half forward at the moment. They could do with a bit of drive at half forward.
They could, and Merrick could always fill in nicely at full forward, which he did last year. Laidley kicks in. Danilchenko the target. Martin up 2 hands. McAdam nearly legged as he comes out of the pack and nearly caught as he gets away the hand pass. On the end of it is Michael Voss. Bears have the numbers. Oh, McIver
Had the sit.
Great mark. Former Fitzroy player.
Capuano coming off.
And Big Alex coming back.
Shenko coming back on.
That was a good grab, wasn't it? Had the sit, as you said. And over Dean Laidley and over Roger Merritt. But the angle acute. We've seen a few missed from this position today already. Saying no closer, don't go over the mark. Oh, what luck. It's hit the post. So another miss. Both sides wasting opportunities close to goal.
They really did need that, the Bears.
4-10. So this quarter they've kicked 1 goal, 6. North Melbourne has added 4 goals, 2. They did need that. 3.5 minutes left in the half. Laidley again to kick in.
Yeah, the chip pass comes in to Scholl. You see a lot of that from fullback these days. Stevens. Over the top goes Anthony Stevens to Blakey. On to Laidley. Trent Nichols has the ball thumped away from him. Oh, punched on by Chapman. Shenko showing a bit of skill then. Gets it to Stevens. Stevens to half forward to Mark Roberts, who went to handball when he was off balance, but then receives it again and hooks it around in the direction of Carey. Can't quite hang on to it. Well done by Darryl White. Gives it off to Fletcher. Or Fletcher showing his lack of pace then. Nichols. Oh, good tackle on Blakey. Taken away by Campbell. Campbell gets in a quick hand pass to Mark Roberts. He hooks it back towards the pocket. McAdam waits underneath.
That was lucky not to be a free kick.
Well, here's White. Further afield it comes by Fletcher. Now it's on to Champion. Champion looking for a hand pass. On to Chapman. And the Bears get out of trouble with a good kick, which finds Lappin at half back.
Lappin starting on the bench. Extended bench today in view of the conditions. Hart between half back and left centre wing. 2.5 minutes left before half time. You can see the scoreboard there. 43-34 in North Melbourne's favour. Big pack of players. Danilchenko at the bottom. King comes in to give him assist, or Scholl rather. And he's the last to get up.
Interesting that Gow's got the job on Roberts. You see there.
Former Hawthorn champ.
Russell Green.
300 gamer.
As I was just saying, Gowers has got the job on Roberts in the half-back line, but Gowers doesn't seem to play as well on the back line, a better wingman.
Armstrong kick marked by Carey. Centering kick from the champ. Nearly off balance was Blakey. Gets it out to King, who straightens up and goes goal. He's a good kick, this fellow. He's got the distance, but again, the accuracy astray. Both sides missing goals they would normally kick, you would think. And King adding another behind with 1.5 minutes left in the half. And North Melbourne increased their lead by that margin.
2 points for the quarter, David King.
6-8 to 4-10 it is.
Well, they're still in there, the Bears, with a good chance. Been a good performance because North are a top side. Carey, a clever hand pass to Swass. Swass trying to get onto his left boot. Now onto the right. It's a floating kick into the square, and it's no mark. And good play by Lawrence to back it towards the line. And good thinking from a young player in a difficult situation, Steve Lawrence. There he is. So the throw in to take place in the forward pocket for North. Mark Roberts. Oh, Adrian McAdams smothered beautifully off the boot. A quick kick again,
smothering.
Oh, this is terrific.
Pretty hot
football.
stuff down there.
Back it comes to Stevens. Can he kick his third for the corner as he hooks it back? And I think he's done it. Yes. 3 goals from the corner to Anthony Stevens and a handy one to North. And now lead by 16 points.
Well, it was pretty hot there. The ball had to come out to the 50-metre line. Look at the numbers around the ball. A lot of smothering there. It's out to the 50-metre line. And Stevens, always left footers seem to be great kicks. Get a lot of distance.
3 goals to Anthony Stevens, and all of them coming in this quarter. We have under a minute left in the half. 7-8 to 4-10. The Bears with 1-6 against their name this term. North deftly work it forward. McAdams there. Flipped out. Hart takes it from Ashcroft. It came from Champion originally. Mark taken out there wide by Ackermans, or Ackermanis I should say. And this is Hodges, who shows a good turn of speed. 25-metre hand pass down to McIver at half forward. And that's
spotting.
a good pass. Voss taking the mark. No, he's going to go back. Fancies himself. Merritt in the square. As Dipper told us earlier, the breeze has picked up a little bit, certainly blowing to that end. Flags on the outer stand, standing out quite markedly from the flagpole now. So Michael Voss, who had a rotten run of injuries and illness last year, kicks from 60 metres, gets under it just a little bit. There's the siren. It won't be a score. And at half-time, North Melbourne will go in with a useful lead. It's Rob Dixon, former Hawthorn player, actually, the Bears runner. Speaking to the youngster who just couldn't quite make it there, but the score at half-time showing North Melbourne with a useful lead. The Bears 4-10, kicking only 1-6 for the term. And North Melbourne 7-8-50. The Roos leading by 16 points.
And North Melbourne have gone out to a handy lead at half-time, 7-8-50, kicking 5-3 in the term. The Bears adding just 1 goal, 6. The difference is 16 points in the Ansett Australia Cup for 95. I have with me David Levins, the umpiring coach. Now, David, good afternoon and welcome.
Thanks, Peter.
Before we go into the laws, first of all, last night, Darren McCauley got carried off on a stretcher. How is he now?
He's in pretty good shape. I went to hospital last night and checked him out. I had a look at him. I've spoken to him this morning. He's certainly feeling very sore and a bit sick and sorry for himself, but he's in pretty good shape. That's good, because it didn't look too good last night, did it? No, it certainly didn't. It would appear as though he was unconscious initially, but he certainly had regained consciousness when he was walking down or carried down the race. Oh, great, okay. All right, we're going to put you on the spot now. Terrific. Last year, I think the most contentious issue, and we had plenty of them, tripping, and especially tripping by hand, and we might just show a couple of these instances or incidents now that happened last year, and the umpires, under instruction, were told to report players, and it was also on trial by video, that players were booked for this tripping and tripping by hand. And the situation this year is just a little bit different, and we'll get you to explain it to us. Yes, Peter, the situation this year is that a player who is tripped, an intentional trip by hand, will be a free kick and will be a 50-metre penalty, but it will not be a reportable offence. That's the difference this year. Okay, now tripping, as I understand it, still is a reportable offence if you trip by foot. Correct. Any player who intentionally trips by foot or by leg will be reported. It will be a free kick and also a 50-metre penalty. Also a 50-metre penalty, okay, so that clears that up. Now, one that is a little bit perhaps more confusing, I think, kicking off after a behind. Now, years ago, you used to be able to kick the ball here clear of hand and foot, and you could get away with it and play on down the field and so on. Then, of course, last year, you had to kick it, I think it was 2 metres clear. Correct. What is the situation this year now? Well, there's another change. This year, the player does not have to kick the ball 2 metres. He must kick the ball into the field of play, and to apply or conform to the laws, he would kick it clear of hand and foot. Now, that used to be okay, what Tony Elshaw did there. But now, Peter, he must kick the ball clear of hand and foot over the kick-off line into the field of play. So he'd have to actually move with the kick, wouldn't he? Correct. Now, for that to be a legal kick-in, he must have his back foot within the square. All right, anything else he has to do there? Well,
there's a reasonable time the player has to bring the ball back into play.
Right, now we've heard the umpires today telling the fullback to kick it out. How many warnings does he get?
We're giving them 1 warning this year. Last year was 2 warnings. But we must be mindful of team tactics and strategies. But we're giving them 1 warning, and that will be initiated by a couple of sharp blows on the whistle. I then have instructed umpires to move 5 to 10 metres towards the player with the ball. If he hasn't kicked the football by the time the umpire returns to that initial position, the umpire should take it from the player and bounce it on the centre of the kick-off line.
OK, which could be a pretty harsh penalty. All right, now, with the 3 umpires, we've often seen, especially when you have a big crowd, and I suppose not today, but they haven't heard the siren. Now, the umpire in charge previously, at the time, had to raise his arms. Now, there was a difference this year.
We would still expect that to be the case. But in the event of that umpire who you said was in charge didn't hear the siren, any one of the other 2 umpires could initiate the end of the quarter by blowing their whistle, indicating the end of the quarter with both arms in the air, and run towards the controlling umpire. OK,
now just in closing, the advantage law, which I must admit confuses me. What's the change there this year?
Well, I think a sensible change, Peter, that the umpire, if he has paid the free kick and then cancelled it through an advantage call, and that player then doesn't have an advantage, in other words, not able to get the kick away, the umpire can then bring the ball back to the player who was the first recipient of the free kick.
I think that summed it up pretty well. Well, David, thanks for your time. I hope you've cleared up a few things. You certainly have from a personal point of view, and to our viewers at home, I'm sure you have likewise. Good luck to you and the umpires for season 1995.
Thanks very much, Peter.
David Levins, the coach of the umpires in the AFL. We'll take a break from Waverley. Back in just a moment. At Waverley, 16 points the difference in favour of North Melbourne, kicking 5 goals in the second quarter to 1 by the Brisbane Bears. One player who'd certainly be in their best 20 is not playing today, Corey McKernan, and he's with Dipper now in the North Melbourne rooms.
Thanks very much, Peter. Now, Corey's pre-season in the first game by North Melbourne. You're not playing. What's going on?
I just had a bit of an injury last week against Richmond. Just had a bit slight tear in the lateral cartilage, and hopefully be back in about 4 or 5 weeks.
Terrific. And the game itself today is a very tight competition.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty tight out there already. Like early in the season, like it seems like it goes up a notch every year, and like it's pretty warm out there today. It's just probably in a way sort of glad not to be out there. Yeah. But I'd love to be out there.
Could be worse. We could be playing, couldn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, last week you lost against Richmond. I suppose the boys will be fired up about that today.
Yeah, I think last week was sort of like our first hit out against another club. If anything, I suppose it helped us a fair bit, sort of brought us back to reality, like you sort of think you're going all right and then you play someone. So I think today, I think we should go all right.
Now, last year you just missed out by 1 game. Now, the pre-season, has it been a good pre-season for the club?
Yeah, we've just tried to address a few weaknesses that we had. I suppose we might have thought our field kicking wasn't as good as it should have been, and probably our goal kicking in general. We sort of tried to address that, and hopefully we can rectify that this year.
Oh, terrific. Well, good luck for the rest of the season. Hope to see you back. Peter, before we go, just a little statistic. The interchange has already been used 35 times by both clubs.
Thanks, Dipper. I suppose I should have said the best 21, but of course today we've got the best 24, haven't we, with 6 on the bench.
6 on the bench, yeah.
A great first quarter. Did you think the second term Don lost a little bit of momentum? They couldn't keep up that pace, surely, for 4 quarters.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of intensity, Peter, and there's a lot of feeling. There was a couple of dust-ups, and that's an indication the players are pretty hyped up. And the Bears, you thought, would go on with it in the second quarter because they had a breeze, and as Bertie said, there was a 5-goal breeze. And this is in the first quarter. This is Lepic and Arch, and this when Archie went off, he was collided. Well, he ran. Roger Merritt lined him up and hit him pretty hard, and he went off, came back on. But I like the way Carey's playing this centre-half forward position. They also set it up that there's only Carey Longmire in the square. They can lead up the ground. They've got a lot around midfield. And this is evidence what happens. And the players run past. And it just didn't happen once. It happened on a number of occasions. That was Swash going by.
Great goal, wasn't it?
Yes, but the layoff came from Carey at centre-half forward. Gilbert McAdam, a lot of ability. I like the way he uses the offensive work, but he's also very defensive. Very quick, and he uses that quickness to lay some terrific tackles from behind. John Blakey.
He's been a good pickup, hasn't he?
Yes, he's kicking some down on occasions, but they certainly mucked around with it a little bit, trying to find something. And this is again Carey. This is what I showed you earlier. and the players running by. That was Blakey again. And Stevens, who kicked 3 goals in the second quarter, is a very, very good player. North Melbourne, in actual fact, kicked 33 points in the second quarter to the 12 of the Bears. Now, that was Archer who went off, and he just about came back on there. Stevens involved around midfield, and Swash also involved.
That was the 50 metre
That was
penalty.
a dicey 50 metres, and I feel for Richard Champion. Maybe the umpire, I don't know. I think he could have let that one go from that mark, but that was a certain goal, and Swash made sure of it by kicking. The stats fairly even as far as the possessions go. Marks favouring the Bears. North Melbourne play a longer game. We mentioned that at quarter time, hence the fact that they don't play a possession game. That's why the Bears have more marks, but everything else fairly even.
Okay, can the Bears come back?
Well, I turned the television off at half-time yesterday thinking Richmond were going to win this and win it easily, but I woke up this morning and Carlton won. But no, I'd say yes, they're every chance.
Okay, there it is. We'll take a break back at Waverley for the second half in just a moment.
And welcome back to very warm conditions at Waverley. North Melbourne first back onto the arena, and the Brisbane Bears to follow shortly. Don't forget, next Friday night from 7 Sports Calendar, the 1995 Super 10s, the Rugby Union Super 10s. First match next Friday. Check your local guide for our coverage on 7 Sport. And the wind you can see there in the background, just making those flags stand out from the flagpoles. North Melbourne will have the advantage of the breeze in this quarter, and here come the Brisbane Bears. They had a good first term. They kicked 3-4 to 2-5, but it was North Melbourne with a much better second quarter to hold the lead at half-time by some 16 points. Let's look at some of the stats for the Brisbane team, and we mentioned the duel between McAdam and Laidley. Don, and McAdam has been one of their better forwards, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, Peter, and the fellow just underneath McAdam, Voss, I'm very impressed with him, Peter, and Brisbane have got a high respect, and that's not a bad effort, 24 kicks till half-time.
So look at Darryl White, 3 kicks and 10 handballs. Not bad playing on Carey.
And Lepic, 7 kicks, again, he's impressive up on the forward line and promises things to come, or better things to come. North Melbourne, well, Anthony Stevens, yes, he picks up kicks around midfield and he's doing particularly well, and does combine well with other players running past. He gives them an option where they can lay the ball off. And Carey at centre-half forward, well, he's definitely got the better of that duel.
Look at those stats for a centre-half forward. 13 kicks and 9 marks at half-time. They are really great statistics.
And Laidley also can, I suppose, hold his head up, because I think McAdam had 9 kicks, Laidley 7, and they're playing on one another at the moment.
And King, 9 kicks, and he started on the bench, so he's done particularly well since he came on. Darryl White on Carey started magnificently with 3 good marks in the first quarter, but as we said, the stats for Carey very, very impressive from arguably the most difficult position to play on the ground. Lambert with the ice pack. Well, we saw him get collected heavily late in the first quarter, and although he did come back in the second term, the ice pack doesn't look as though it's on the knee.
It's at the front,
on the
front of the shin, so at least it's not the calf. The calf injuries can be pretty annoying.
And so can knees, in more ways than one. So just about set for the start of the second half. 16 points the difference at Waverley. North Melbourne with the assistance of the breeze in this term. Ishenko to do battle with Clark. Bounce favours Clarkson. Scooped out. Now it's King from Stevens. Kick up towards full forward. Longmire, who was taken off late in the second quarter, didn't do much. He'd be very keen to make amends. Gives away the hand pass to Schwass, who goes goalwards. Can he make it his third? He can't. And the ball hit the behind post, I think. A great goal, though, he kicked in the first quarter.
Usually he kicked them from there too, Peter. Not a difficult position for Wayne Schwash from where he let that ball go.
So boundary throw in right next to the behind post. Ashcroft will get there first. Good smother. He'll try to get it out to his teammate in Chapman. He does. Scott under all sorts of pressure and trouble. And Chris Scott's errant hand pass over the line, but the Bears make some 10 to 15 metres. And the throw in this time close to the 50-metre line. Early stages of the third quarter. North Melbourne left half forward with the breeze in this term. Buse has also had a stint at the bench. Got a heavy knock also late in the first quarter. Eschenko and McIver. McIver taken out of it. Now a chance for Scholl. Scholl's kick is towards centre half forward. Marking contest down there. Carey makes it no contest. Onto Schwartz on his wrong foot. Tried to get onto the left. Ultimately gave the hand pass. Nichols runs into goal. And he too has missed and put it out of bounds.
Now, would the result be a little different if Wayne Schwartz was a competent right foot
Well, he would have kept going, wouldn't he?
Exactly right. When you're a professional footballer, you've got to be proficient on both sides of the body, whether it be hand or by foot.
So Richard Champion playing on John Longmire in this quarter, brings it to halfback. Well, Carey was there, but what a brilliant mark taken by Clark. He's a talented player, Matthew Clark.
Maybe with confidence he'd become a little bit more assertive, but that's probably one area of the game he's lacking at the moment. He's not quite assertive enough.
Now an ordinary kick goes straight to King, who's been an excellent player. David King, dangerous kick. Carey, back with the flight. Well played, Wayne Carey. Hand pass on to Stevens, who kicked 3 goals in the second term. Still got it, Stevens. Chips it in towards the pocket. And John Long says thank you very much. And he'll have a kick from 20 metres. But brilliant play by Carey again.
Longmire hasn't really troubled the statistician, has he, today?
One kick so far.
One kick. This is his second coming up, and he was off the ground in the second quarter. But here's Stevens. You can see there he's a left footer, proficient on both sides of the body. Stevens, great pass, because normally a good left foot kick.
So Longmire for his first. Kicks hard through the ball, and he has missed it. A bad miss by the full forward.
Maybe Ian Collins moving the goalpost in 3 metres has confused them all, Pete.
7-9 plays 4-10, and Ian Collins was telling us also they've taken a bit of the dome off this ground, so it's a lot flatter than what it was. Now the kick in to Clark, and Matthew Clark. Oh no, he doesn't mark, he drops a sitter, and the ball spills over the line.
Yes, fans sitting on the fence on one side couldn't see the players sometimes on the other because of the way it came up towards the centre. They've taken a little bit of that off. As I said before, they've spent over $300,000, in fact closer to $350,000 on the ground during the summer months. Stevens in a sandwich. Lappin's got him. He's not going anywhere, and it's going to be a bounce.
I think they've put more of a sand base there as well, Pete, to improve the drainage.
Well, they're going to play a lot of matches out here this year.
The ground is actually better presented than it was, or has been in the past. Trees, the foil's painted. It looks terrific.
Clarkson's kick. Oh, it's a real hospital job, that one. And finally, Roberts came out with it. A quick kick at goals results in only a minor score, so I think that's the 4th behind kick by North Melbourne this quarter. 7-10. Back the second. A bit ahead of himself. They've certainly had some chances down there. Champion looking for a lead. The umpire will tell him quickly. He's got one warning, as David told us at half-time. Now the Bears get clear. Marking contest on the outer side. He could have almost been in the back against King. Umpire says no. Danilchenko goes for the hand pass. North Melbourne looking dangerous at midfield as well. And at half forward, Carey literally on his own there. Buse was the one in front. Certainly didn't have the height to go with him. Campbell gets caught, drops the ball, applies a tackle, could have given away a free kick. Eschenko goes in pretty solidly on Clark and put him out of business. And Brisbane will need to run it out. They do. Kennedy tried to get a hand pass away. Hodges went without the football. Now Marcus Ashcroft does the tidying up work.
Well, they've got a big chance here because Leppich is clear. Oh, he's got to kick it. Oh, he didn't see the man coming. Not good vision by the youngster then. Voss went without it. Good play by North. There's Anthony Stevens trying to crash his way through. Leppich again. Well, he made up for his mistake there as he gets. Oh, look, good pace too by Ackermanis to get to that mark. He brings it in towards the pocket. Big chance for Merritt here, and he snaffles that one. Oh,
we've got some good youngsters, Brisbane, haven't they? Very mature Ackermanis, who kicked that, Lawrence.
Scott.
And Scott has already played a season. I'm talking about
but they are
first
very
gamers, and very impressive.
Well, they've got a base to build the side around now with all those young guys. Merritt from directly in front has kicked one. That was in the first quarter. Stabs at this one, and I think there is no doubt it's a goal.
There's just no reaction at all when Brisbane kick a goal here at Waverley, and Roger Merritt kicked his second goal, and there was just no acknowledgement from the crowd.
Yeah, down there, 3 supporters down there for Brisbane.
And here's the play once again, and there he is, number 35, Ackermanis, an All-Australian Teal Cupper. He's only 17, and well, he found Merritt. Good kick.
Ackermanis to Merritt for a goal. The difference back to 12 points, 7-10 to 5-10. And the Ansett Australia Cup for 95. Better conditions today than certainly we could have had yesterday when it was 40 degrees. Kennedy's kickers to half forward. Danilchenko in front with Lepic, the boy from Berwick. Of course, another boy from Berwick still holds the game's record with Michael Tuck, of course. Archer gives away the hand pass. Reynolds. Back it comes to Laidley. Laidley from centre half back. A duel with McAdam, one of the highlights of the first quarter. Ball spills free. Campbell on the end of the punch away. Passes down towards half forward. No mark taken. Longmire gets back. Champion beats him to it. He'll be keen to go for the boundary line. Longmire, I think it might have kept it in play. Past Chapman. Opportunity down there for the Bears to try to get it through Ashcroft, but it's out of bounds. 14 and a half minutes left in the third quarter. 2 goals the difference. Match number 3 of the Ansett Cup. And we've had some terrific footy so far. Friday night with the Dockers and the Saints. Snapshot by Blakey. That's going pretty close. The bounce important. Carey. White rushes it through for one behind. So the difference back to 13 points now. Darryl White picks up the football. Gives it to his teammate Richard Champion, who will kick in 7-11 to 5-10.
So Champion has been looking for the short one in from full-back each time.
White offering a lead close to this member's wing. If he can spot him, there's just nobody around him.
Now he's deciding there's no one to kick it to, so he bombs it long. A pack of players there. Here's Trent Nichols looking for the short one. Gives it to Ashenko. Ashenko a hand pass over to he gave it straight to Voss. Voss a quick kick and lands straight in the arms of big Mark Roberts. Roberts brings it to the pocket. And he's found Matthew Armstrong, former Fitzroy centreman. Armstrong, there's a lead on. Beautiful kick into that hole at half forward. John Longmire led beautifully.
He's looking a bit better, Longmire, Pete, because he was taken off in the first half. Didn't do much at all, did he?
He was well held by Richard Champion. He was caught behind a number of times in the first half, and I think that's why he was replaced. So Johnny Longmire, normally a pretty straight kick. Yet to score a goal today. He's directly in front, 45 metres from goal. Brings it out to the right, swings it back and straight through.
Well, all forwards look better when they lead, and Longmire did on that occasion. You present yourself as a movable or a moving target, and it's amazing the number of times the ball is actually directed to a moving target. There's Armstrong, catches the lead of Longmire. Bit of movement, and the ball always seems to go to where movement is. It's a good kick from Longmire. His first.
John Longmire gets his first goal. The difference out to 19 points again. Centre square infringement detected, and the free kick will be going North Melbourne's way as Chenko takes it. Wobbly punt off the boot. Gower's got underneath it. King applies a tackle on Chapman, looking for holding the ball, and gets the decision. His kick out towards half forward, punched away by Hodges. Kennedy and Stevens. Stevens has the pace. Kennedy content to let him get there first. He takes it over the line to throw in 55 to 60 metres out. North Melbourne's right half forward flank.
Mark Roberts seems to have taken up that position at centre half forward. Carey leading, or more or less has a free agency on that forward line. He's deep in the forward pocket, Carey.
Stalemate almost until Kennedy comes out with a quick kick. It's a badly directed one from a Brisbane point of view. Warren Campbell takes the mark. So Basil Campbell from WA. one of their strong men in years past. Kick this time from Chapman down towards midfield. No mark taken there. That could be a free kick to McIver, who was certainly looking for it. Charges himself into trouble, gets grabbed high.
What about the fellow who he's dropped it?
North fans not happy with the decision. I suppose he could have got the free kick earlier anyway. Lappin, the target. Leads out well, marks in front of Bashenko.
Showed a bit of promise last year, Lappin.
He did. Comes from, I think it's Chiltern, Northern Victoria.
Oh, now there's a push out. That is a push out.
He pushed Martin out, didn't he?
My word, he did. And the umpire really not in the position to pay it.
He was about a 45-degree angle.
Exactly right, Peter. I looked for where he was. You're dead right. He was 45 degrees from the action. Now watch Lynch. The push out there, and the umpire was about 45, and probably there was a nudge. Use your body instead of the hands.
So Alistair Lynch, who's been pretty quiet, kicks at goal and gets it. Lynch kicks his first. So the two full forwards both getting their first goals in the third quarter. John Longmire earlier and Alistair Lynch matching him, and the difference back to 13 points, 8-11 to 6-10.
Well, they're hanging in there, the Brisbane Bears. Here's the mark by Lappin out wide. Beautiful kick by McIver. He is a great kick, Scott McIver. Now you'll see this just little nudge in this marking contest as Lynch caught behind, just nudges Mickey Martin out of it and takes the mark.
Actually, Martin will suffer from sunburn today, won't he? Very fair skin. I wonder if he's got his factor 15 on.
Well, there's the ruck contest. Free kick to Clark against Dashenko. A little bit rough in that duel. As we see Clark kicking it out wide. He was looking for Lappin. Akamanis, he's been pretty impressive. Andy Gowers brings it in towards half forward. That's better.
Now, aren't they better when they move? Longmire's starting to move now. Lynch is starting to move.
Here's the kick by Lynch to Merritt. Good pass and a good mark to Merritt. Well done.
Quite big enough, is he, Reynolds, to play on the fellow of Merritt size?
Well, that was really good movement. There's Graham Allen and Gerard Sholly from the Collingwood Football Club. Hang on.
Good mark by Merritt. Presented himself well. Reynolds, well, I think he's got room for improvement. Keenan.
So big Roger Merritt from way out at half forward. Let's see if he can make the distance. I'm very doubtful. I would think it won't. Up in the squares of a free kick the way of North Melbourne, I would think. Yes, it's going the way of Michael Martin against Lynch.
And Scott McIver's hurt himself too. He's managing to run out to pick up Craig Scholl, but he's favouring his right leg.
Not much room for him to kick over. Now he does. Just favours the outer side. Dashenko the target. Reynolds takes it ultimately.
You better player up the ground.
Armstrong. Not quite big enough for a key position, Don, you're perhaps saying. Anyway, it's almost to the other end of the ground very quickly. The champion overruns it. Ashcroft in trouble. Is that holding the ball? Or is it in the back?
Sensible umpiring. And that guy Ashcroft had no chance of getting rid of that.
Rock and Scott about to come on from North Melbourne. And then one coming off is Campbell, but there's McIver in the hands of the physio.
Looks a little bit sore. Gowers. What a well-directed kick. Rock chips it in short, and Armstrong, Academy Award job. Still worth a try. That's a good pass.
Trent Nichols coming off for North Melbourne and Scott coming on.
Anthony Rock.
See, they're well endowed for
small fellas, aren't they?
North Melbourne with
midfield runners.
Armstrong and Rock.
Scott is really a goal-kicking forward, isn't he? A goal-kicking half forward.
Rock taking plenty of time with the kick. He's just inside 50. With the breeze, needs to aim for the right goal post. And that's touched right on the line through for a rush behind to the Roos. Kick by Anthony Rock, his 7th kick. 10 possessions for the afternoon. 8-12 to 6-10, and Scotty McIver comes off. Dipper might have some news what the injury is in just a few moments. I thought it might have been a quad muscle or a hammy, something of that description. Gowers. Oh, he's off.
He's gone.
And in trouble. Gets it back to Lappin. Intercepting is Scott. Umpire in the meantime has played a free kick to Brisbane. It will go to Marcus Ashcroft at left half back.
A little bit lucky that time as he brings it to centre wing Lawrence. Good diving mark.
Came off the bench now. We've just replaced McIver, Lawrence.
So Steve Lawrence to half forward Merritt Shepherd as well. But I think that's out in the full. Yeah, sort of cross the line. So a free kick to Keenan Reynolds. Former Bulldog brings it to the centre of the ground. Oh, well smothered by big mark Matthew Clark. Lawrence underneath it, hooks it back out to Clark. Clark trying to get in a hand pass. He does so to Kennedy. Kennedy, a quick kick in the direction of Gilbert McAdam, who dives and marks. Big chance here for the Bears. They've got Lynch one out with Martin. If he kicks it now, Lynch and Leppich goes back to lend a hand. Lynch and Leppich. Lynch. Leppich.
Oh,
yes!
well
good
done,
mark
Mark.
to the youngster.
Well done.
That was a good effort to get down there and help out Lynch, who was pretty well covered.
Great effort.
Good
wasn't
mark.
it? Oh, just terrific. Here he is. Lynch offering a number of dummy leads. Flies. There's Leppich. Second, third attempt. He finally pulls it in. Well done.
Well, he will kick from directly in front, and it'll be a very handy one, this one, to the Bears. Will bring them within 8 points. If he kicks it, which he does. Well, a different ball game now. 8 points, Don.
And by my reckoning, that's his first goal. No, second goal for Leppich. And with Lynch, Merritt, Leppich, they got certainly some good size on that forward line, and also that size can move around. It's just not big and awkward.
Second goal by Justin Leppich, 12 points the difference. Dipper has some news on McIver.
Nothing too serious for Scotty McIver, just a cork right calf. He's had some ice applied to it.
Okay, thanks, Dipper. Yes, that's good news. But with the 6 interchange players, they can swing him around pretty quickly today. Danilchenko was in front. Reynolds came up behind. Archer, 3 blondes in a row. The Roos finally clear it out towards centre wing. Be a mark or free kick. That was in the back almost. Armstrong kicks long to half forward. Carey has to punch. And past Boss, he takes the hand pass from Buse. Forward again, that's Hodges.
A terrific endurance, Hodges. He can run all day.
He's a good runner.
This is Buse coming off the Bears and Hart coming on.
Tell you what, if they get a goal down here now...
Too far out to score, though, Merritt, this time, I think.
They'll be right in this.
Leppich is in there again. Ashenko. Oh, gee, they nearly brought it down. Laidley lays it off, and they'll bring it away through King. His kick is up towards the centre wing position. Carey.
Well done,
champions. Nearly got him. Good chase. Scott. Good tackle by his opposite number 22 and Roberts. And Gowers has to go off the ground to relieve a little bit of the pressure. It will be thrown in North Melbourne's left forward pocket.
Andrew Gowers, a premiership player with Hawthorn, can play on the wing, can also play key position.
Not too well in the key position, though, Pete.
Hughes at the back there, former Geelong star. So North Melbourne by 8 points. The Bears really hanging in here. Clark hooks it over the back.
Schwash has come off for a rest too, and he looked very tired as he went to the bench. Campbell on.
Well, there's Rock giving it to Roberts. Roberts straightens up. Does he sneak it in? No, he's just missed it behind. Mark Roberts. And Wayne Swass going down to cop the blast from the fan there.
4 points to Mark Roberts.
Chapman. 5.5 minutes left in the term. Oh, he's taking too long here. Roberts in front and takes the mark. Had his name all over that. The only one that really went for it, Mark Roberts. On to Stevens. Danilchenko. Low trajectory drop punt. Guess who's got it?
Yeah, he's got a lot of latitude, though, Peter, hasn't he?
So White's a brilliant player,
he's
but he's
loose.
He's very loose.
15 kicks, 6 hand passes, 14 marks to Wayne Carey, and we've still got 5 minutes to go before three-quarter time. Well, if he'd kicked accurately, one behind again to the North Melbourne champ.
The other player that's a bit loose is Andrew Gowers. He's playing on Mark Roberts, and Roberts is having a bit of a field day.
He is at the moment, isn't he? Started slowly, Roberts, but he's certainly lifted halfway through the first quarter.
Look where Gowers is, and Roberts is out there.
Oh, that's a bad kick. Might be just inside. No. So out of bounds on the full. Free kick to North Melbourne to be taken by Anthony Rock. And kick number 8 for him. Gone for a short pass. Champion. Got 2 hands to it. Hart gives away the hand pass. Let's hope that the Bears can do a little bit better here. That's Lawrence. It gives away the hand pass. Now it's a chance at half forward for Capuano.
Capuano into the centre. This is Blakey. John Blakey swings onto the right boot, kicks it up high. There's a man on his own in the pocket. It's Campbell. Warren Campbell marks about 45 metres from goal.
Dolonchenko's at full forward now, being picked up by Champion. Armstrong in a pocket. Carey still has that roaming licence on the forward line. He's been picked up by Chapman.
Keenan Reynolds down at full forward.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Campbell will kick from 45. He's a pretty good kick for goal.
Longmire's down the other end of the ground, picking up Roger Merritt.
He's got an eagle tattoo on his arm, is it? Maybe he was expecting to go to the West Coast.
So Warren Campbell from right on, well, outside 50 in the finish as he kicks it out and hooks it and might sneak it in from behind. He does. So some sort of bird there on the left arm.
Yeah.
8:15 to 7:10.
They kicked 1-7 this quarter, North Melbourne. Johnny Longmire just doing a couple of quad stretches. Roger Merritt will keep him busy. Richard Champion. Long to the outer side. Gowers underneath it. Ball punched well cleared by his opponent Roberts. It's out of bounds just on the 50-metre line. 3.5 minutes before three-quarter time. Well, the Bears in the second quarter and North Melbourne in this term not doing the right thing with the wind. Damien Burke back onto the ground to do some ruck work, giving Clark a rest presumably. Didn't see him go off. Kennedy's kick. Bounce important here. Lately reached it best. Now it's Leppich who took that great mark.
Good skill.
He gets around Capuano. Sits nicely for Lappin. Lappin at left centre wing around Danilchenko. Hart does the shepherding. Bad kick though. Certainly looked very awkward off the boot. McAdam tackle and then applies a tackle.
It was well done by Merritt.
Down goes Scott. The umpire has decided to bounce it. Gilbert thought he might have got a free kick there. So a bounce at left half forward now for the Brisbane Bears. Damien Burke up, wins it down. Ashcroft charges into trouble, consequently loses the ball, and the North defence able to once more tie it up.
White's gone back onto Carey. And Chapman's on the half back line on Armstrong.
Would White be their best option on Carey, Don, do you think? He started on him.
I think he's a bit loose. We called it earlier, Peter. He's a little bit loose.
Burke to Hart. Lappin fumbles at the crucial moment. Danilchenko trips over one of his teammates. Good tackle by Stevens. Ashcroft went to ground. The two number 10s therefore tangling.
Good pick up. Great tackle.
McAdam, did he hold it too long? He did. And Glenn Archer's going to take the free kick.
It's cruel when the bloke doing all the work.
Yeah, it makes the play.
It's a free kick against him like that.
Doesn't seem right. Archer making a good comeback after he was carried from the ground in the first quarter. And this is Damien Burke. Good kick by the former Geelong ruckman. Marking contest again. Martin at the back of the pack. Lappin clashes with Archer. Martin farms out the hand pass. On the end of it is Stevens, and away he goes. Armstrong telling him to keep going, which he does, and a good long kick up to midfield.
Yes, beautiful kick down in the direction of Mark Roberts, punched away by Gowers. Here's Chapman trying to get it back in the direction of Voss. Lawrence a touch of the fumbles. Here's Voss again. Good play on to Kennedy. That's excellent footballers. It's taken away by Hodges. Hodges to the centre.
Look at the holding of jumpers of these two players. Now, why doesn't the umpire ping?
He has. He's given it to Laley against.
They were both doing it.
Akamanis.
Well, you wanted somebody to be pinged.
Oh, yeah.
You got your wish.
Look at Laley's holding.
Yes, you're right, Don. Laley was holding first. The umpire missed it. Now, over the top it comes. This is Stevens. Oh, dangerous once he gets the ball onto that left boot. A long kick to the pocket. Could be a mark coming up. Oh, it is to Robert Scott, the former Geelong Rover, right in that forward pocket. There's that value of that long driving left foot kick.
I think Scotty copped on there.
So Robert Scott marks, and just a flip across the year. That's par for the course when you take a mark on the forward line.
A few years ago, Scott and Denham, a lethal duo at Geelong, both left that club as Robert Scott goes through and kicks another one.
So handy that one to North. They haven't been able to shake off the Bears. They've been very persistent. 69 now plays 52. 17 points the difference.
Again, the value of a long, quick kick into the forward line, and again, there's Stevens who got that down there, and Champion coming through. Just missed his mark. Or just grazed his mark, I should say.
Yes, he didn't miss him. There's your fan, Don. I know you've got one.
There's one.
Under a minute left in the third term. North Melbourne getting their 9th goal. They're only their second for the quarter. 2-7 they've added. Brisbane have kicked 3 goals against the Breeze, so the Bears certainly not out of this contest yet, and it's been a good match. Laidley's kick not quite long enough. Armstrong gets it back from Capuano. The kick is to half forward, 1-on-1 duel, punched away by Chapman. Hodges is caught by Armstrong. Hart does the tidying up work. A little quick kick down towards centre half forward, and they all misread that. The Bears need a mark here with the clock ticking down. Martin, Lynch. Martin wins out. Sheer strength. And they'll come away again now. Danilchenko from Armstrong. Back it comes to Barnett. Barnett's kick towards centre half forward.
Was a good
mark or a push. White's got it against
that is wrong.
That is totally wrong.
Oh.
He can't believe it.
White did everything properly.
I thought, the way I looked at it, I thought that Carey was doing the holding or the pulling.
He's a little hard.
We just watched there, I suppose, but then
it must have been beholding the jumper then.
So Wayne Carey, a chance to put North Melbourne further ahead with his 17th kick. He's kicked 2 already. He'll be kicking from outside 50. Bears getting plenty of players back into the square. Oh, it's a good kick. It's a ripper kick. Just a little off target though, and through for 1 behind. So North has to settle for 2 goals only for the quarter. Kicking with the Breeze. So at 3/4 time, we check the scores in the Ansett Australia Cup. North Melbourne 9-16-70, leading Brisbane 7-10-52. Well, the Brisbane Bears kicked 3 straight goals, but they were outscored by North Melbourne 2-8 to make the difference 20 points at 3/4 time. And don't forget the 7 Sports calendar. Mark this one in your diary for certain. I'm sure you know it starts, but March 31, the AFL season by Coca-Cola for 1995. Check your local guides for our coverage. Here's Dipper.
Thanks very much, Pete. Peter, don't count the Bears out. Roger Meta had plenty to say to his players and grabbed Darryl White and just said, listen, stick with Carey and we'll back you all the way. And the thing is, down here, the wind has certainly picked up once again in favour of the Bears. So a couple of good quick kicks in that 10-yard square could see the Bears back in this game. And a quick cheerio to Gabby Fennick, who's crook, and he's one of the trainers for the Bears and understands at Tweed Heads Hospital. So a cheerio from all the boys down here.
Good on you, Dipper. Yes, the flags certainly standing out from those flag piles now. So they've got the breeze at their backs. Can they do it? Well, a lot of youngsters out there. Robert Wall's having a few words to say. Great mark by Lepic in that quarter for a goal. And he's just one of them. I remember when he was recruited, he said, I'm delighted to play AFL footy. I don't care if I'm going the Bears or West Coast or anywhere. That's the great attitude. Let's check the stats. These are the ones from the 3rd quarter, Don.
Yes, well, kicks favouring North Melbourne, and I thought they really did control a lot of that game. Marks favouring North, not by many, only 4, but nothing really to get. Nothing. All the tackles is interesting, isn't it? North Melbourne running a lot more tackles. They were in front on the scoreboard. Usually a tackling team is running behind, but yeah, that's an interesting one.
That's true. That often is the team with the most tackles can be second to the ball, but North Melbourne are an exception because they are one of the hardest sides in the competition at the ball, Don.
I'm looking at the Bears interchange bench, and Scotty McIver limping with that calf problem he has, but as Dipper said, it's nothing major, but I wouldn't think he'd be coming back today with 6 on the bench. And of course Lambert injured too. 20 points the difference, or rather 18, 9-16 to 7-10. As we begin the final quarter, Burke opens in the ruck, applies what I thought could have been a high tackle. Umpire says no, and it will be a bounce.
I'm surprised they haven't moved Alistair Lynch out to half forward because he's been well held down there by Michael Martin.
Is he fit enough?
Well, you'll get fit by running around out there, Don.
But true enough. He did say in that interview earlier in that piece by Bill McDonald that he had a virus, and
well, that may be the answer.
Maybe he still has. Clarkson's kick.
Oh, now he was thrown out. That's interesting. Carey threw White to the ground, right in front of the umpire, and here's Carey going to goal.
Hand pass. There will be a goal nonetheless. Kick by Reynolds.
Great player, Carey, isn't he?
Magnificent stats for him.
White down to the ground. The umpire was right there.
He got away with it.
17 and 7 he's had, plus 14 marks. And it was Reynolds who actually kicked the goal. 10-16 now to 7-10. Reynolds starting in defence.
There's White just going to ground just a little earlier than that. Man handled by Carey, but Carey finishes up with it and sets it up. Reynolds, who started in the back pocket, now on the forward line, his first.
And Mark Roberts in that passage of play with a hand pass, and he's been an excellent player. Damien Burke loses the ball, and the ball's kicked to half. Oh, Carey again. Is that mark number 15? Amazing performance. In towards the pocket. And a mark taken by Anthony Rock, but Carey has just been absolutely supreme again. And little Anthony Rock, a tough little nut, will kick from 30 metres. 45-degree angle.
What about Lynch to centre-half back, Peter?
Oh, I'd be putting him... Yeah, well, that's an excellent move. Has played a lot of full-back and centre-half back. So Rock chips it in and chips it through for a goal.
Well, you'd lose nothing by that move, would you? Because White is being beaten and Lynch, they're getting nothing out of him up forward.
Just looking down there now. He's still down there at full forward, Alistair Lynch.
And what North Melbourne do, and do it well, is that the players come up the ground, but then they run into space further up the ground, and Rock did it on that line. In that case, running deep into the forward line. And that's his first, Anthony Rock.
So North Melbourne going ahead in this Ansett Cup match. The difference out to 5 goals, and that's the biggest it's been at any time during the contest. 11-16 to 7-10 at Waverley. Burke wins it. Couldn't find Voss. It's a North Melbourne ball. And charging onto it, this time with his right foot, Schwass. Kicks to half forward. Carey brushes them aside with gay abandon. 1-2. Roberts. Hand pass is ineffective. It's going to be a Brisbane Bears free kick to be taken by Darryl White at left half back. Kicks it in short. The pass is effective. Lands left centre wing. Andy Gowers has got it. Hasn't really shone out in his first official game with his new club. Takes a while to settle in.
Clark's now playing at centre half forward for the Bears. That's Matthew Clark.
McAdam ridden into the ground. Danilchenko takes the hand pass. Away they go again. Laidley, former West Coaster, up to the 50-metre line. No mark taken. Some soccer tactics used down there. Ineffective. White dummies the hand pass, then gives one away. Carey with a good bump. Opens it up for Rock, who spoons it further forward. Roberts applies a tackle. Buse with a clearing kick from a standing start up towards midfield. White late on the scene. Ashenko goes down. 2 falls out of 3. It's going to be a kick to the North Melbourne Giant. And he gives away the hand pass to Schwass, who in turn gets it to Scholl.
Scholl, the long kick. Chapman's done some nice things. He looks as though he's back in a bit of form, Nathan Chapman, after a disappointing 1994. Lappin should have been paid. I thought that was a mark to the Bears.
Yes, he definitely had hands on it first, didn't he?
Well, he's been paid anyway. King to half forward, thumped away by Gowers, out towards Stevens. Anthony Stevens, a very good player. Armstrong gets it to Robert Scott, 2 players that are new to North Melbourne from other league clubs, and the mark taken by Roberts, who's playing very, very well up forward now, Mark Roberts. There's Carey, the superstar, back in the square. He covers a lot of territory, Wayne Carey. Often gets back in the goal square area. Now the chip pass is on, and straight to Robert Scott, who will kick from about 45.
Looking for Gowers. He's down in the goal square, and Roberts is up on the 50-metre line.
So Robert Scott has kicked 1 goal so far. That was in the 3rd term. And the little rover from Geelong is directly in front. Oh, he runs close to the man, the mark, kicks it up high, clears the pack, but the wrong side of the post for a behind.
Robert Scott's stats not that impressive. 5 and 1. I think most of those have come in this last quarter. He's been very busy. 11-17 now to 7-10. Richard Champion. Oh, that's a booming kick. That's travelled 65 metres. Unfortunately for Brisbane, straight into the arms of Laidley, who's almost on the centre wing. Fantastic kick that was. Armstrong. Rock! Great mark for the little fellow.
Could have gone on. Open square in front of him.
Like that mark taken by Merv Hobbs years ago at the MCG over Tassie Johnson.
Chair, you are going back.
Well, I don't think it was.
You look at this.
Well, I don't think it was as good as that.
Good mark.
That mark you're talking about, Merv Hobbs was about 3 metres in the air.
Oh, he was. So kick number 10 for Anthony Rock should result in a goal, and it does. North on fire in the last quarter.
1 goal last week. He had a hernia operation, actually, Anthony Rock, over the summer. As did John Blakey. 1 goal last week against Richmond. But he's kicked 2 in this last quarter, and there's a good mark here from the little fellow. Usually on the ground, taking the crumbs or the loose balls off the pack.
Well, North Melbourne by 37 points, getting right on top. A lot of the Bears players just going through the motions at the moment, as we see David King, who's been pretty impressive as he turns. Was that a free kick against Carey? Umpire didn't think so. He's a very strong player, Carey. Uses his body a lot.
Pushes the players out too a bit.
Scott onto Hodges. Hodges off the side of the boot, clears the line, so a free kick to North Melbourne to Craig Scholl. But Carey has been absolutely outstanding. Best man on the ground yet again. And here he comes at the back, Carey. Nearly crashed into the pack, and the ball rolls off hands and over the line. Just look at his stats. Wayne Carey, 15 kicks, 18 marks, and 8 handballs, playing in the hardest position on the ground. Well, how do you beat him?
You get a howitzer.
Take a Glenn Jakovich or someone like that.
Yes, they're the duels we look forward to. As I said, the Bears, well, they haven't tossed it in, but Buse, they're going the long way home. It's out of bounds, close to centre wing. Throw in with 14.5 minutes left, so plenty of time. As we see the North Melbourne bench. A little bit cooler now than when the match started. And thankfully we weren't playing at this time yesterday when the temperature was close to 40 degrees. Burke and Eschenko. Good duel that. Eschenko taps down. Now it comes out to Voss. Hodges.
Good hand pass.
Kennedy. King gets there. No, Kennedy beats him to it. Dives on it. Scholl spoons it up. Now they get away through Trent Nichols over the head of Armstrong, and Clarkson marks at centre half forward. And North Melbourne's running game really looking good now. He took a mark earlier for a goal. Here he goes again, 15 metres out from goal. Rocket, he's kicked it. Three goals to Anthony Rock, and two of them have come in this last quarter. 13-17 to 7-10, and the difference out to 43 points.
Well, that's his third goal. And the loose men. There's Clarkson on. Rock. Easily done, isn't it, by North Melbourne?
Well, North Melbourne right on top now. 43 points they lead by. As I said a moment ago, the Bears play. A lot of the Bears players are really going through the motions at the moment. North running on with it. There's a hand pass coming over the top to Buse. That was from Fletcher. Further afield it comes to Gilbert McAdam, who started the game very, very well, but has faded. Still some strong work going on in the clinches as it's up further afield. Or diving in after was Danilchenko. Gee, they're pretty ferocious in the pack. Well, Clarkson is there, so no wonder. Number 23 for North, Alistair Clarkson. He's a tough little cookie. There he is.
4-1 to nothing so far in the last quarter, Pete.
Yes, well, Robbie Walls would be pretty happy with the first three terms, I would think, but certainly not in this last. And the ruckman getting in each other's way again. Clark and Eschenko punched away by Longmire, now playing at full back, and the umpire will bounce it again. I think what's coming out of this game is the depth of North Melbourne. Geez, they've got some good players.
They did well, didn't they, in the draft?
And the Bears will be very difficult to beat up at the Gabba.
Oh, exceptionally hard to beat up.
McAdam knocked it away. He's Mickey Martin had his head knocked off. It didn't worry him as he kicks it out to Danilchenko, who can't mark. Here's Scott, Chris Scott, onto Lappin, two of the youngsters. Gilbert McAdam. Touch of class, dodging, weaving onto the left boot. The former Saint brings it to the pocket, but the mark taken by Trent Nichols.
And Nichols is going to go across the goal. North Melbourne, as you would say, Pete, have loose men everywhere. Scholl from Armstrong. And they're finishing plenty of running. Mickey Martin auditioning for the Stall gift. Come on, Mick, keep going. From centre field, he kicks long down towards centre half forward. Bears defence working overtime to keep the Roos out. Scott hooks it across his body down towards half forward. Reynolds it was who put the body in. It's out of bounds on the 50-metre line in front of Hodges. It will be a boundary throw. He did well, the youngster.
He did, and Champion went and told him to. That was excellent. He put his body on the line to chip across Reynolds then.
So throw in. 50 metres out. North Melbourne in attack as they have been for most of the quarter. Gowers. A real up and under kick. And did it land inside or did it land outside the line? I think it landed just inside. Scott was underneath it, and it will be thrown in between half forward and centre wing. Had a magnificent season last year. Number 22 for the Bears, Chris Scott. They'll be expecting even more from him this year. This is going to be his testing year. Eschenko wins that and wins it well. Gets it down to his teammate and Trent Nichols, who kicks it well inside 50. Marking contest. Champion actually fisted it further forward. Reynolds and Gowers. Neither can pick it up. White gives him backup support. Gowers didn't see anybody there, so goes for the boundary line educatedly and gets it over just outside the 50-metre line. 12 kicks, Andrew Gowers. Well, he hasn't really been a star for the Bears today. And again, in the last quarter, many of their players have gone missing so far.
Free kick to Eschenko.
Eschenko barging his way through onto Armstrong. Across his body to half forward. Gowers in front, Carey behind. Roberts smothered well by Champion. He butters up again. The fridge. He gives it to Schwass. Schwass 5 metres out from goal, and he's kicked his third. Goal of the day, certainly to Wayne Schwartz earlier. A real Mick McGuan effort in the first quarter, but he's kicked the Roos 14th, and they cracked the ton, 101-52.
Well, it's Gowers who flies in front here, and there his man is staying on the ground. That's Roberts. Has the ball smothered, but then follows up quickly across to Wayne Schwartz, his third goal. And North Melbourne doing it pretty easily at the moment too.
And it's good to see a man who runs in the open goal like that, 20 metres clear, and not put the ball out of the ground. Well done, Wayne Schwartz. Not Learising. So quick kick comes down towards half forward. The mark taken by Akamanis.
Didn't you do that?
No way, never. It was Fletcher who got that down to Akamanis. And a nice long kick too. Merritt has drifted out of the game. Lynch has been well held, so they've had trouble up forward. Here's Fletcher chipping it across to Sean Hart, now to Ashcroft. Around the corner he goes, up in front of goal. No one can take a mark. Craig Scholl's there. They've got a good strong defence, North Melbourne, and Scholl just races
well, that's
across
the first
the line.
score of North Melbourne since the 17th mark of the Brisbane on the 17th mark of the third quarter, and in that time North Melbourne have added nearly 50-odd points, 49 points to be precise.
Ben Archer, hard to believe he was carried off in the first quarter, onto Nichols. They're certainly finishing the fitter of the two sides. Of course, we shouldn't forget that North Melbourne were just one kick away from the grand final last year when they were beaten in the preliminary final. Kick after the bell. This man's magnificent.
Strong. Too strong for White. White's got to go and push a few weights.
16 marks.
16 marks, 18 kicks. That's 19 now. 27 possessions and a best on ground performance from Wayne Carey. He'll be the early favourite for the Brownlow. There'll be no worries about that. Fletcher gives a hand pass away. Chapman intended for Voss, gets to him eventually, kicks up towards the centre wing position, and a good mark is taken by Marcus Ashcroft. Ashcroft from right centre wing down towards Hart, inside 50, good long kick, that'll be a goal. Great kick. So Hart gets his first, and the Bears first for this quarter, 8-11-59 to 14-17 101.
Well, if they all had a harder size of this little fellow, Sean Hart, Brisbane, they'd certainly win a lot more games than they'd lose. But he's a real little goer. Some of their better-known players, I don't think they just put in. They really haven't got the endeavour that's required. But he certainly does put in, Sean Hart.
North Melbourne now by 7 goals as Burke jumps high and thumps it down towards Buse. The two former Geelong players combining. Here's Akamanis. Cleverly gives it to Hart. Hart a quick kick. Looking for McAdam. A good contest there. Taken away though by Rock, who's kicked 3 goals in this final term. Towards the centre wing area, Schenko gets it to Swash, who sprints clear. And a daisy cutting pass. Finds Trent Nichols. Nichols trying to get away onto his left, but the umpire's paying 50 now. I think that was a genuine 50 metres, because Chapman was holding on and retarding Nichols from trying to play on.
Anthony Stevens has gone off for a rest. John Barnett coming on for North Melbourne.
Let's see, now he's got it. Yes, keeps hanging on. Definite 50 metres there.
They've given away 2 of these, haven't they, North Melbourne?
Well,
Brisbane.
the other one was doubtful, but...
well, it's still...
Nichols from directly in front. And I think he's kicked it. Yes.
Both resulted in goals.
So that's his first on, Trent Nichols. He's been a handy pickup for North Melbourne.
A very important pickup for North Melbourne. Gives them a little class around midfield. And they're starting to get a good group of midfield players, North Melbourne.
Trent Nichols' first goal. And North going right on with the business in this last quarter. And, the Brisbane Bears, 107-59.
Is that Voss going off for Brisbane, and coming on, I think, it's Danny Craven.
Burke again.
Hasn't missed a hit out, really, has he, since in this last quarter, Burke?
On the Buse. Now picked up by Jason Akamanis. A little bit of a nudge there, a great mark over the top. Is that Clark? Yes, it is. Will be one of the big ruckmen, barring any injuries this year, I think, in the competition. Kicks down towards where Martin nearly grabbed the mark.
Carey coming off too for North Melbourne, being replaced by Capuano.
Clark's mark as Carey comes off. His stats: 16 marks, 19 kicks and 8 hand passes, and a best on ground performance by the North Melbourne chap. Be easy giving votes today. You'd have him 3 votes without any question. And that could be almost deliberate, but the umpire won't pay it.
There's a good match-up down at full forward for the Bears, where you've got Merritt playing on Mick Martin. How's that for a contest?
Gower's off for Brisbane, and Lawrence coming back on.
And those two guys could both get a job as a bouncer in King Street without any problems. That's all they need. Put those two guys there for a week and they'd sort the whole lot out. Good tackle by Lappin. Ball comes to Clarkson though. And away they come again. Laidley's kick. Up towards centre wing. White gives it to Champion. Long way from goal. He decides to have a bounce to get clear of Capuano. Still North Melbourne though, and there's Mickey Martin right on the 50-metre line taking the mark. Realised it pretty well. This is Scholl, who took it from Blakey.
And there's the kick in towards Capuano. Doesn't quite hang on to it. Alistair Clarkson, a quick kick towards Harwood. Scott waits underneath it. Can't mark the ball over the back to Roberts. Mark Roberts picks it up. Very agile for a big man. Looks for Adrian McAdam. Well done by big Damien Burke as he brings it towards half back, and the mark taken by Fletcher. Adrian Fletcher. Further afield to Hodges. It's tapped down by Lawrence. Further tap onto Clarkson. That's Barnett. Gives it to Robert Scott. Scott brings it in towards full forward. There's no one there, and it's taken by White.
Relishing Carey going off the ground, presumably, which he has just done. This is Hart. Good long clearing kick. Hart's kick to centre wing, and a fine mark has been dragged in there by Akamaris. Teal Cup youngster who's done fairly well today. This is Nathan Chapman. A nice balk around Rock. Good. One of the stars of the last quarter. A little bit of jostling down there. Archer, Blakey, Barnett it is. Now the umpire's
kick, I think, is going North's way.
Holding.
Yeah, against McAdam.
And it will be taken by Blakey, will it, I think?
Mick Martin, he's in the strength department. He's as strong as anyone in the comp. We even saw that in the finals on Gary Ablett, who's pretty strong himself.
He is. Well, boundary rider Dipper would vouch for that. Collected him in that memorable grand final of '89. Now, the fridge. He fumbles. Looks for McAdam, who's caught. Did he have the ball? Umpire calls play on. Scott kicks across his body. Badly directed kick. Straight to the freezer department. And Armstrong again takes the mark.
Well, it's simply been all North Melbourne, hasn't it, in this last quarter?
Yeah. Disappointing effort from the Bears. Lack of discipline.
I think they're waiting for the final siren, the Bears players.
Well, it shouldn't be, because at three-quarter time they were in with a chance when they trailed 7-10 to 9-16. It was only 18 points the difference. But North Melbourne have run right over them in the final term. The former Fitzroy centreman, come ruck rover, goes at goal. Not there. Burke takes the mark and can play on. But he's kicked it straight to North Melbourne players of plenty. And Campbell chips in to take the mark. Then he had to play on Warren Campbell. He's gone back to take his kick.
Well, he could have given it to Rock there.
Yeah, my word, he could have given it off to Schross too. Oh,
booming kick.
That's why he didn't.
Has he got it? That's not a bad sort of a roost. What's the umpire say? One behind only.
It's a pity, Peter, they don't practice that torpedo, isn't it, players? You know, that's another thing they could put in their bag of tricks when from a long way out. Well, get onto a torpedo, it certainly covers the distance.
Does look a great kick in motion. That one was, we saw Wayne Carey looking on these Hodges towards Scott. With Scott tries a little clever chip pass, taken by Laidley. That was Campbell. Now Rock, back to Campbell. It's about half-forward flank position for North Melbourne. Taken away by Hodges again. He's shown a little bit to half-forward. Punched away by, well, it was punched away by Scholl, but a free kick in the meantime to Lepich, who also looks as though he's going to have a good season, Don.
I think so, Peter. I'm very impressed. Let's hope he has a good career.
Justin Lepich down to half-forward. Oh, that's a good, strong mark taken by Archer.
Scott off too. That's Chris Scott for the Bears, and Kennedy coming on, picking up Campbell in the back pocket.
Well, that's Scholl getting it to Laidley. Laidley, well, that was touched just before it crossed the line, so it'll be a throw-in on centre wing.
4.5 minutes remaining in this match. First round of the Ansett Australia Cup. McAdam and Burke. Almost a wrestle. Armstrong roves it beautifully. Lovely hand pass. Picked up by Robert Scott, who's had a fine last quarter. Still lacking nothing in pace. Out it goes to Campbell. Well, he'll get the distance from there. Time to steady. This time a wobbly, mongrel-looking punt, but it looks pretty good accuracy-wise. The goal umpire says, yes, it's a goal. Not as spectacular as the talk, but a much better result. 16-18 to 8-11.
His first goal, Warren Campbell, he kicked 2 points prior to that. But North Melbourne did this so well, didn't they? Drawing players, and this is a sign of a team in full control. When they can go into the forward line, as North Melbourne did, a lot of confidence shown.
Well, they now lead by 9 goals, 1 North Melbourne, after the first half was a very even contest. Even at three-quarter time, the Bears had a chance. Now kicked in mid-air and right out towards centre wing, where there's a race for the ball. And is Lawrence. Oh, it keeps it in, just eventually rolls across the line. But North Melbourne have really got going. There's Anthony Stevens. And you can see the amount of weight work the players do these days, Don. Pretty well muscled up. Capuano and Burke.
Free kick, surely.
Ah, yeah, let those ruck contests go. Inconsequential.
Had him by the shirt.
So the umpire coming in to bounce. That's David King on the bottom of the pack. North proving they're going to be a really big force in the competition this year. Enormous depth. Done well in the draft. Trent Nichols. Oh, champion wrench straight into the North Melbourne player. McAdam off the ground. The umpire's bringing the ball back. It'll be a free kick to North, and it'll go to Robert Scott.
He's done well this last quarter, Scotty. 7-3 now his stats. And 95% of those in this last term. Good mark to Burke. Hang on.
He might have thought he was playing back at Geelong then.
So Burke goes out wide to Champion, the man that delivered that hip and shoulder. Champion's kick to centre wing. Clark was the flyer. Didn't come down with the football. Over the head of Craven. Opportunity for Nichols. That's Lawrence. Was it Lawrence? Yes, it was Lawrence. But more here than his dad had when he played at top level. If he can be half as good, he'll be sensational. Well, this has been the story of the last quarter, hasn't it? North Melbourne getting too many easy kicks and probably too many easy goals. Schwass goes at goal again, and he's kicked another one. That's his 4th. And Robert Walls will be very disappointed with the Bears last term. 17-18 now. So they've kicked 8 goals, 2.
You just got to wonder how a man can get so far or get so much latitude. Look at the North Melbourne players. No one picked. Look at Schwass. No one around him.
Even
trying to have a bounce. Yep. Going his 4th goal, 2 in the last quarter.
Well, he is a great player, Schwass, and when he's firing, North Melbourne are extremely dangerous. That's Capuano with the big leap, knocked on by Campbell. Still in the centre of the ground. That's Alistair Clarkson. Gets a quick.
Gee, there's a North Melbourne player down too. Is he clutching his leg or has he just got cramp?
Well, it could be cramp. Oh, there's Archer. 3 bites of the cherry and he took it. He's a very versatile player. On to Laidley. A tough, hard-hitting backline, North Melbourne. Here's Craig Scholl. He adds a touch of class to it. Towards Rock. Punched away by Lawrence. Good disciplined play, but Rock butters up and he's still got it, little Anthony Rock. Chips it across, option of 2, and Archer takes the mark. Now he's looking for someone to give it to, and he decides in the end to kick it long in towards the half-forward area. Schwass goes to ground, taken by Champion. Oh, good, strong play by North Melbourne, and the umpire's going to bounce it.
That North Melbourne player in question was Armstrong. He's now up on his feet and he seems to be okay. There he is. Robert Walls would be very disappointed with the side's capitulation in the final stanza of this match. Only 3 goals down at the last change, but it's been one-way traffic, hasn't it? Buse looks for Lawrence. Hand pass a little bit too slick for him. And it's going to be another ball up. With just a minute and a half to go, North Melbourne by in excess of 10 goals. Anthony Rock has played a great last quarter. He's now kicked 3 goals. Wayne Schwass has got 4. Stevens 3. He's off the ground at the moment, having a rest. So backs up what we said earlier about this side's great depth. Fletcher to White. He started off well against Carey. Wayne Carey with the best on ground performance, even though he spent half the last quarter on the bench. Archer from Laidley. Rock again. Geez, likes going for the big marks. Ashcroft to Lawrence. On to Hart. Still at midfield. Archer stands the mark. Now McAdam. Danilchenko giving chase. McAdam, a long ping at goal. It's bouncing, and it bounces the wrong side of the post for the Bears supporters. And only one behind. 120 to 60, so 10 goals the difference, twice their score.
There's Dennis Pagan and Rodney Eade, the former Hawthorn star there. Craig Scholl. The centre of the ground, the use of the ball is beautiful. That's Barnett receiving from Clarkson to half-forward Roberts, almost go. Oh, look at White with the one-hander. He can do some mercurial things, White, and he's appreciating Carey being off the ground. He can chase a few kicks. Champion finds Ackermanis. Looks as though he might make a play. Ackermanis to centre wing, where big Matthew Clark takes the ball as the siren sounds to end a very convincing win for North Melbourne in the finish. The final score 17-18, 120. They've defeated the Brisbane Bears 8-12, a total of 60.
Great goals by North Melbourne in the final quarter. Let's go down to Dipper with the man we thought best on the ground.
Thanks very much, Peter. Yes, the man of the moment. A first good hit out for you.
Yeah, it was a good hit out. I think we started off a little bit scrappy, and it was always going to be a hot day, and I thought that Brisbane would have been probably used to it a little bit better, but I think second half we come out and we fought hard, and that's a great win, I think. 10
a good sign today too. Looks like you've got a lot of depth at the club this year.
Yeah, we have got a lot of depth, and I mean, even coming into today's game, you got 24 guys. We had 2 extra on the bench, and there was probably about another 3 or 4 guys that could have come into the team. So, it is hard to get a game at North Melbourne at the moment.
And for yourself, a lot of pressure on you this year. Pre-season's been good to you?
Yeah, I've got through the pre-season all right. I think all of the guys have, and it's a credit to us today that we got up and won, I think.
Well played, mate. See you out there.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dipper, and thanks to Wayne Carey, best on ground today. North Melbourne running out winners 120 to 60 from Waverley in the Ansett Cup. We'll take a break, back in a moment.
Brisbane very much in the match at half-time, and indeed at three-quarter time, where they only trailed by 3 goals, but 8 goals 2 in the final quarter. North running right over the Brisbane Bears to win by 60 points to advance to the next round of the Ansett Australia Cup, and this is how the draw looks in the top half at the moment. And the Roos, therefore, by their victory this afternoon, to play the winner of the match tomorrow night between Essendon and Fitzroy. And we wish Bernie Quinlan the very best of luck in his first appointment as coach. Mike Sheen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Peter.
Great of you to join us. A little bit happened during the week, and I guess the main thing was the draft, and of course a few surprises there.
Well, it was a mess, Peter. There's no doubt about that. In fact, it sort of probably constituted a giant stuff up all round. I think
you're talking about Sydney. Is that what you mean?
We are. I mean, I think to get to a stage where you've got all the big names in football there, probably about 120 people, all sitting around, and then suddenly there's a silence. I mean, people just can't come to terms with the fact that Sydney have passed when everyone in the football world knew that they were intended to take Ross Lyon.
Rob Snowden was even in the dark, wasn't he, right up until almost the last minute?
Yes, I think the formal advice to them came just minutes before the draft, and it was disappointing. I mean, this is the thing where no one wins. I mean, I think maybe Brisbane is the only one that can claim to have had a victory because they, in fact, finally got Ross Lyon. But the player lost. Sydney certainly were the big losers from the point of view that they'll be a player short on their playing list this year.
Virtually 2 players, aren't they? Because Rocker's not going to go up.
Correct, and there's another 2 that are injured. So, in fact, they've gone from 52 last year, notionally down to 42, and they'll play with 38. So it's clearly a huge drawback for them. But I think what hurt them most was the credibility factor, that here was an established player that they were hoping to get. They'd done all the legwork, and suddenly when the time came, they couldn't land him.
Ron Joseph has admitted liability. Was it really his fault? Should it go deeper, or is he, do you think, perhaps covering up for somebody else?
No, I don't think there's any cover-up. I think the fact it's got to stop with Ronnie. Ronnie was the chief executive of the football club. I believe that the Swans are at fault. I think there are probably some mitigating circumstances, but the bottom line is they were late with their players list into the AFL, and it left them no scope to manoeuvre. And when the time came, the AFL said, you don't have room under your cap. no dice.
What do you think could have happened? Take a hypothetical situation, had they picked him?
Yeah, very interesting. Well, the thing that intrigues me, Peter, is that had the roles been reversed and had Ian Collins, the AFL's football operations manager, been back in office at Carlton, and Carlton was the club concerned, I've got no doubt that Ian Collins would have said Ross Lyon.
Well, Colo's always in the news, isn't he? What about some of the other highlights of the draft, Mike? I guess Dermy, plenty was said and written about him where he went when he finished up at Collingwood. Do you think he's a good buy? Lee Matthews seems to think he is.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things, Peter, that about the draft was that someone said to me on Tuesday, it's a trash and treasure sale with a lot more trash than treasure. And I think, in fact, Dermott was the one that gave it credibility, because there's no question he's probably the best performed player ever to go into this draft.
Do you think he still has a question mark against his fitness?
There's no doubt. Of course he does. I mean, he hasn't played good football since 1991. And maybe I've got caught up in the romance a bit like a lot of other people, but I thought he was definitely worth a risk, and I was surprised that Richmond didn't take him. I think he would have been a huge plus for Richmond, playing alongside Matthew Richardson in a forward pocket. Collingwood was prepared to take the risk, and I think that they'll probably succeed.
Maybe you think Tigers going for youth perhaps more than experience?
Well, they didn't actually. They went for Stuart Wigney. Now, 3 other clubs have failed to make Stuart Wigney an established league footballer. I was just surprised, given it was such an early choice, that Richmond took that path.
So Dermy's last year, I guess we can expect perhaps a few fireworks from him in the opening rounds. Should he make the side?
Well, maybe, but then I watched him play in the under-23 practice match out here a couple of weeks ago, and Jeff Hilton was coming in one direction and Dermott was going in the other. Now, that was tailor-made for the Brereton of the 80s to go through and just sort of send him into next week, and Brereton peeled off and sort of said he's just got to learn to play smarter.
Michael, a lot's been said in view of the heat in the last few days about pre-season matches. Yesterday we had a situation, Hawthorn played a practice match here at Waverley. It was 36 degrees or something at 9 in the morning. Now, we had 6 players on the interchange bench this afternoon. A couple of things come out of this. Should all pre-season matches have 6 on the bench, or should all pre-season matches like this be played at night?
Well, I think the latter course is the ideal one, but it seems to be impractical. I mean, they want television, and as I understand, it is difficult to make every Ansett Cup match a night match. But I don't have a problem at all with the 6 on the interchange bench. I mean, the purpose of these games basically is to give as many players as you can a test and to sort of see how fit they are, to try a few new strategies. And if you use 6 interchange players, no problems at all with me.
What about the heat factor, though? It can be dangerous. We've seen this happen before.
Apparently Chris Langford yesterday was in distress. They do all their training in this sort of weather, but it's probably later in the day, and I think we just have to live with the fact that there are going to be days in February and March when it's in the high 30s.
So 6 on the interchange bench, a regular thing, perhaps a good idea?
Well, I don't see a problem with it at all, Peter. I mean, the coaches are clearly interested in using as many players as they can, and if there's a safety aspect to it, well, that gives it more and more push.
Just in closing, what do you think of Brisbane today for 3 quarters anyway?
Yeah, look, I remember they were 8 points down in the 3rd quarter, and I thought it's a very credible performance. I thought North looked like they were going to go away, but it must be disappointing for Robert Walls and the Brisbane people to be belted as they were in the finish. I mean, there's something about this place that just is a negative for the visiting teams.
And North, well, you couldn't help be impressed by, first of all, Carey, and then the team as a whole, especially their depth.
Yeah, they're an excitement machine, aren't they? I mean, it is fascinating to be out here and watch Carey, and then you've got Swash and players like that in support, so it was a very pleasant way to spend Sunday afternoon.
All right, well, thanks for joining us this afternoon, and we look forward to seeing more of you during the year.
Thanks, Peter.
Mike Sheehan.
The 1995 Ansett Australia Cup, brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors, Nike, Foster's Lager, and McDonald's.
And the Ansett Australia Cup for 95 continues tomorrow at Waverley. Essendon taking on Fitzroy, and that should be a beauty. Check your local guides for details of our coverage. Match time is 8:30 Eastern Summer Time. And then on Wednesday, Collingwood and Footscray. Will Dermy be in the side? Well, we'll find out very, very shortly. It'll be very interesting as the Doggies take on the Magpies. Again, check your local guides for details of our coverage on 7 Sport. We hope you've enjoyed our telecast this afternoon from Waverley. North Melbourne running out winners by 10 goals over the Brisbane Bears. Good afternoon to you all.